Hey,
Get this meeting going here.
talking about wood. Yesterday we had Betsy cut in the front of the house. There's a 160-year-old oak tree in my front yard.
Wow.
And boy, they came away with they cut some gorgeous blanks off. I met two wood turners I didn't know lived in the area when they stopped by to get wood. Yeah. They said, I mean, beautiful oak with some really good heart pattern in it. And they were happy to get it. But you used to be able to go down the road from here, and there was a rather large tree operation. And the guy had a lot. It was a company. I used to work for the company that's lot they had. And you just go in and get logs if you want them. A local professional wood turner owned the property and was leasing to him. He made them stop giving away lumber to other wood turners until he saw he had to have first dibs. So, yeah. So they just said, oh, nobody gets dibs. So, real nice. He was a real gentleman.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's one of those guys.
There's always one in a group,
Yeah, it's all about me.
Yes.
No problem. Hey, hope y'all been doing some turning this week. It's been a good week for things happening. Looks like we talked a little bit about business tonight. There's a couple of sales at KMSR tools. That information's in the chat. Folks, if you're just joining us tonight, you can save the chat before you leave. Now, if you came in late, it's not going to be in your chat. So if we say it's in the chat, it'll be in the piece that David posts to our website later on. Or you can say, can somebody refresh that? And somebody will put it back up there. We're only here to share information and pass on good ideas. This is not a sponsored show or meeting. It's number 213 for us. And we enjoy getting together each week to talk about wood turning. And it's kind of open formatted. We thought about doing this format thing a couple of years ago and said, nah, I do it and keep it loosey-goosey. And I like it that way because that way we can kind of venture around and do different things and talk about something dealing with wood turning. What came up the other day, and my phone rings about twice a week. I love this. I changed my phone number. In fact, I got to look it up when I got to tell somebody what the number is. My phone call the other day, it was a guy who says, what is the best? Well, I got to start back at the beginning. He's gluing up some seasoned wood or dried wood, kiln dried, and he wants to make some segmented pieces like what do you call them? When you take a bowl out of a blank and cut it all out.
Boring.
Segment.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. What's the best glue to use for that? And we had a little conversation about glues and adhesives and epoxies, et cetera. And it just seemed that he really didn't have a concept of what's the difference between a glue, adhesive, and an epoxy. And then we talked about gap filling. And we were talking about lapping to get things even. He said, oh, you know how to do that with wood. I use that Gorilla Glue, and it fills in all those gaps. Okay.
Yeah.
Look. I got a smile out of Bob Grinstead for that one. Who fills in the gaps? Yeah. All the black dudes that they've ever done make me look like I just robbed a greasery. It's that doesn't if you don't have two good surfaces to go together, your glue is not bonding it together. Now, if you go to an epoxy, you're filling in a bond. Okay, different whole operation. So, but I have seen people take tight bond tube and put up one of those bowls and glue it together on a face block on a lathe at a club meeting. 30 minutes later, go in and start turning it off, shaping it up. Just keep it under light pressure, no massive load or anything else. And all it takes, it really is reading directions. As most of us know, that's about the last thing a lot of us do when we get to fooling with this stuff. We'll take a fair shot at it and see how it works out. I mean, that's
What's this
I'm
direction
an-
business?
yeah. I mean, I'm an old Italian guy. Hey, if all else fails, go to the instructions.
What's
And
this thing about reading? I've never heard of that before.
No,
Must be a new invention.
came out the Air Force as an ammo troop. We made it work no matter what.
Yeah, the hell
so-
with the TO.
Yeah, and that's how it is most days. But if you just think about it, we talk about some of these things. If you're thinking about something new, do a test. I'm not talking about with the piece as is going. Just do a test. Cut 2 blocks, lap them out. It's a piece of sandpaper on your tabletop. Knock it out. Put one snap of a rubber band around it. Put the glue on it. Wait an hour and see if you can pull it apart. You right there, you will see if that adhesive, that glue is starting to bond those wood fibers together. You will see right there. That's all it takes. It doesn't take a big clamp, and it doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take heat or anything else. It's pretty instant in today's technology. So do a test, and if you wonder about it. And also, if you're doing a segmented piece and you're bringing pieces around, there's nothing in the world will fill those gaps. Nothing will fill those gaps. If they're not cut right and pulled down right, that's it. If you over pull them to bring them down, God's going to step up later on and go, boom, and they're going to break, explode. It's going to explode. I've sat in my own den and heard something crack across the room and looked over and saw a segmented piece just tumble on the table. Because years after I turned it, it finally started moving again with changes in humidity and everything else, air conditioner blowing on it. That time it was it was too close to being under the big screen TV, and the heat was blowing down on it, and it just pow. So you can't. When we got this wood, it's a great product. God gave it to us. What it does best is it moves. It does best. It moves to shrink and rise and go oblong and all that. You've seen the bowls and pieces we've done. Work with it, not against it. So consider all those things when you are putting a project together. What is that wood going to do for you? And if you're putting 3 or 4 different types of woods together, think what's the moisture going to do to you? Because even if they all say kiln dried, who's kiln and how much dry? So get you a really good moisture meter when you do that. All right, we have a demonstration for you tonight, folks, but we also have gallery here on Wednesday nights. And this is meeting number 213. And we always look to have something good from you members. Last week we were in a little bit long. You see we had Cade Boger in last week. And Cade is notorious. Don't laugh about Cade. He's notorious for detail. And he worked hard last week. I mean, he did a great demo for us last week. All the details you'd ever want, all the safety you'd ever want, all the facts you'd ever want for a demonstration. So gallery was short. So all you folks that are tuned in, hey, get those things back out again, because we do want to see what you turn. It's not bragging time. I want to see what came out of your heart. I want to see what you came up with. And speaking of that, on the 22nd of November, right here, we do tips and tricks. Tips and tricks. Get into that grab bag of yours and find out what you have. You hear that, Duxbury? We're asking for this time.
Gotcha.
Y'all got a heads up.
That was a
right.
subtle hint, Jim. Subtle hint.
Like I said on my on the post about it last night, where I tagged everybody. There's a lot of people here in the group that kind of sit back in the background, and we enjoy that. And we know that you've got some good tips and tricks that you just want to share. I'm going to rip that Band-Aid off and I'm going to come to you.
Yeah, because
Not-
it's
not going to be the
simple.
same 5 people.
It's so simple to think, what do you do in your shop that makes your wood turning or your working a little bit easier or a little bit better than theirs? Really, I mean, you've got a trick, you've got a tip, you have an idea. I mean, and it comes from everything from trying to make, I don't offend anybody, but trying to make a little bitty chuck reach over a big piece, you know, you need a long end. All right. But if you have come up with some solutions, give us the solutions. Tell us how. Explain to us what it is. One thing is chuck keys. I heard it last week when Cade was doing his demonstration. He put his chuck key into the top of his chuck and he said, I don't take my hand off of it because I don't want to forget it's in there and turn it on. Have you had your bell rung by this thing coming out? Have you? All right. You won't put your hand up for that one, will you? You won't say, oh, yeah, I have. Or rub your head. You know, that, no, they gotta do that. There's a couple of different ideas on how to get around that. I showed that on one of my videos one time. Fix it where you can't leave it there. Cost you a whole dollar at Dollar General. Yeah. And you get enough to do it for 6 of the club members. So, but those are those little ideas. Give us a little ideas, come back, share them with us, because whatever trouble you save may help out your fellow wood turner. But it's not only that, there's a degree of safety in those things. And those degrees of safety, if you put them in play early in your turning career, they stay with you. You don't learn it wrong and have to fix it. You learn it right and you live with it. So we're going to do that. That's on November 22nd. If you've got an item for the gallery tonight, put it in the chat. We'll find it and we'll go to that. And if you got something you like to chat about tonight, got a question or a problem, or remember, it's your meeting, your meeting, we'll get right to you. Dane, do we have any galleries lined up?
God, lo and behold, we do.
Lo and behold,
Everybody know who that is? Let's see. Let's start it off with, let's see, I'll go first. I'll break the ice.
Oh yeah, show me that jewelry thing.
So, this was inspired by Matt, the dear old spiral finial.
Mm-hmm.
And
Awesome.
light is,
It's gorgeous.
so I gilded it. So 2 parts. So the bottom part here is spalted maple. The vessel is gilded. So it's all one piece. And then the top, the lid, is spalted pecan. And
Wow.
green is Mojave green turquoise that we get out here.
Oh, my goodness.
It's shinier than a diamond in a goat's ass, but it's not being picked up because of all the spalding. And then I gilded the inside of the spiral. So it came out really, really well.
What color did you gild the inside with, Dane?
The inside, that's natural. But
Okay.
this gilding is gold, just regular gold leaf.
Gotcha.
What's
What
the
do you-
finish there, McDane?
Oh, it's my
Yeah,
typical finish. It's what is it, everybody? All at once?
Tongue oil.
Tongue oil.
Tongue oil. Tongue oil. very good.
Polymerized tongue oil.
Polymerized tongue oil. And then here's the bottom. And so I textured
Oh,
the
wow.
bottom.
Look at that.
And again,
Ooh.
this is
Oh, I
really,
like that.
really punky
Yeah,
spalt.
texturing's pretty too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That grain
See
is
that
gorgeous.
before. Wow.
It was tough to get a good clean cut on, let me tell you.
It's really
Yeah,
pretty.
I'm real happy with it, and the wife is real happy with it too. So
There you go.
You said you use gold leaf. Is that really the gold leaf, and you kind of have a glue behind it and stick it on there?
Yeah, yeah, it's got its own special water-based adhesive.
Sure.
And then so something that I did find out with it, that if your tongue well finish is a little bit tacky, which the finial is made out of Coca-Cola, and so I didn't seal the natural oils in the cocoa very well, and so I had a couple ingrain spots on the actual the cocoa finial on the outside, and so it was still tacky. Because if you don't get those oils sealed, then if you're putting oil finish on top, that stuff just ain't going to dry on Coca-Cola. Anyhow, so the gold leaf went on it, and God, it works just as good as the adhesive that you're supposed to use for putting the gold leaf on. So, but aside from that, everything came out beautifully on it.
You put a finish over the gold leaf?
Yes, yeah, tongue well.
Good. All right. We're very good though. Very pretty.
Super.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
it's gorgeous.
And then, so I think I just saw a question on the type of tongue wheel. So polymerized tongue wheel, so you got the metals added to it, so it dries. And there's very little tongue wheel in it. There's a whole bunch of other chemicals in there, but yeah, your Minwax, your Hornsby, your Watco, all three of them perform the same. Just here in the U.S., just depends upon who's carrying what. At Home Depot, Lowe's, or Ace Hardware, or True Value, or any of the smaller hardware stores or Tractor Supplies or farming fleets and whatnot.
So which one was this? Which tongue oil did you use on this?
Right now I'm using Minwax. The next can up is Watco.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. And then of course, I use bold linseed oil as my sanding sealer. So there's bold linseed oil down first, and then the tongue oil applied. So, but the wood, I got to give a shout out. So I got the wood. The spalted maple came from Dave George, and the spalted pecan came from Tim Hatch. So much appreciated from the both of them, sending me some wood, utilizing the little bits and bobs that I've got going on with it. So
There you
I've
go.
got all kinds of Coca-Cola. So, alrighty, that's me.
Good.
Let's go to Mr. Johnson. Howard, I need you to start your video.
Hey, how are you doing?
Alrighty, I got you.
You got me? All right, great. What I want to do is show you some projects I'm starting, and I want to kind of show next week how they come along. This first one is I don't know, it's kind of hard. It's a little Christmas tree, but what I don't know if you can see it now. You can't. Anyway, it's made out of hackberry, and it's been turned, and it's textured. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's got a texture to it here. So the next thing I'm going to do is put some black ink on it, and then go ahead and color it. Put green and off of the fronds, and then I'm going to drizzle iridescent white along the edges to kind of give it an icicle look. This thing up here, it just was the nub that was left over from attaching to the tailstock. I just shaped it. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but maybe somebody can give me a suggestion on what they think they should be doing to this. So, but anyways, that's one thing I got started.
Got a suggestion.
Make it into a little star and paint it gold.
Yeah,
Use
maybe.
gold star or gold leaf. That
Yep.
leaf stuff.
Yeah, if you put your suggestions in the chat, I'll take a look at them and we'll go from there. All right.
Cool.
Okay. Next thing is everybody. I showed my dragon vase last week, and I want to start a new project with another vase. I'm going to call it a poinsettia vase. And what I did was I went ahead and outlined all of the poinsettias on it like this. And so the next step is to start outlining all of these with a little ball. But once I get everything carved up and everything, I'll color it. And then I'll put the some of these leaves will be red and some of them will be green and some will be white. But what I'll do is every week I'll kind of give you a progress on what this takes. This is going to take a few weeks to do. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know what things are starting. And anyway, I appreciate y'all letting me show.
That's nice. That's a beautiful piece.
Yes, very nice.
All right. Thanks, Howard.
You bet.
All right. Let's go to Joaquin. We got you now, Joaquin. Joaquin.
Let me
you
unmute.
your pepper
I got
bells?
you. I had to unmute. So I've been cranking out a couple of these. This is the antique style pepper mill, little cherry, hard maple, and I was finishing up this one and thinking about a third one today, and I decided why not. So that is a 5-axis
Beautiful.
spindle. And that actually turned out really nice. I'm pretty happy with that one. These are a fun little kit to turn. They're not too bad. I have found, although I didn't recess this one, if you recess this little foot here, it actually makes it easier to seat them and screw them in. And somebody in comments was complaining about having trouble with these screws. If you use a number 1 Phillips, the little ones that you get to install electronics, number 1 Phillips fits in there just perfect. It'll take that. And drill pilot holes. You must drill pilot holes. You're not going to be able to, especially if you're using hard stuff like hard maple. You need to drill pilot holes or you're not going to get those little screws in there without mangling them. So number 1 Phillips and drill pilot holes first, and you shouldn't have any problem installing these. And I was going to show this last week, but well, I fell asleep. So hang on just a second. And actually, I'm going to leave one of these pepper mills for scale. Okay. So you can see about 7 inches, 8 inches high.
Oh my.
So there is a giant yarn bowl. That
Oh,
is
it's beautiful.
7.5 inches from base to top, 3 inches of cherry, 2 inches of hard maple, 3 inches of cherry. And then the yarn hole is literally big enough. I turned this one with the real popular right now is the real thick, loose skeins, and it's about this big around. And nobody makes a yarn bowl that'll fit that, so I did. And I turned this layer, glued on the hard maple, cored the middle of the hard maple, turned it. And then I turned this layer separate so that it mirrored this layer, and then glued it on top, then turned out the recess, and then finished the inside walls and finished the hollowing, which saved me all the grief of trying to hollow that bulk of wood that far off the tool rest. So I just built it in layers, and it worked out pretty well. It's very, very smooth and which it has to be for a yarn bowl. And then somebody here in the group, we were discussing yarn bowls, I don't know, a year and a half ago, and suggested using the router bit on a Dremel to cut the J slot. And let me tell you, that is the only way I cut J slots since I learned about that. I can't remember who it was.
It was me.
Yeah, was that Matt?
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, it was you. Dude, that is the best solution. And everybody I show that to goes, why did I never think of that? I can't tell you how many hours I've spent with a coping saw cursing and cutting these J slots, and that router bit on the Dremel is magical. That is absolutely the best way to do a J slot.
Yeah, you just zip, and you're done.
Yeah.
It's great.
I mean, it cuts it in about 1/10 of the time. It's so fast and easy. And cleaning it up and sanding it is really easy too. So if you don't know how to do that, if you don't know to get the router bit for your Dremel to do the J slot, now you do, because it is ideal solution.
Yeah, you put the little Dremel router attachment
Yeah,
on the Dremel.
The foot,
And-
yeah, and it rides on the bowl, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Works great.
And you have great control. It doesn't go zinging off. It really is. It's an ideal solution. Like that was
Yeah,
an
and
eye
I'm-
opener.
And Joaquin, I'm not a router guy. I'm not very good with
Oh,
a router, and it was
me
easy for
neither.
me to use too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, no. The Dremel's perfect. Because yeah, routers are intimidating. So that's all I got.
Fairness,
That's
it's not a
beautiful,
router.
Good
beautiful.
stuff. Good stuff.
Looks great, Joaquin.
Thanks.
Very nice.
Good stuff, Wade.
What profile is the router bit?
It's just a
It's
straight bit.
spiral. Yeah,
It's a
straight spiral.
Spiral cut.
Yeah,
You do an upside down or reverse side spiral.
it's a. I guess it's
It's
gonna
about
be
a quarter inch in
it draws it toward the machine. So downward spiral.
Okay.
Yeah. But it just cuts it like butter. And you've already turned, we're less than a quarter of an inch thick there. So you've already turned. And something I've figured out too is I'm a little bit thicker here at just the top rim because I'm cutting out a big section of the bowl. So if I leave an area thick, just a little bit heavier where the top rim's going to be, it's going to support it. This likes to kick out when you cut it out. But if you leave it a little thicker right here, that won't happen. You can see that's still mostly continuous. It's kicked out a little, but it hasn't gone way out and almost straightened out, which I've had happen. So I just leave just a bit of a shoulder here, and that helps prevent that from going too far out.
Looks nice.
Good
But like
info,
Eddie said,
thanks.
wood moves. That's what it does.
Yeah, that it does. Right on. All right. Thank you, Joaquin.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Doug.
Howdy. It is good to see everybody tonight. Yesterday, most of you know I have a live on YouTube on Tuesdays, 3 o'clock Eastern time. And so I came into the shop yesterday and I wanted to do a little bit of warm up. Did a Christmas tree just to get started. That's kind of first and foremost anytime I come into the shop. And I thought, I haven't turned a bowl in about 2 weeks. So I turned a little bit of practice bowl. Just a little bitty dude, little piece of crotch wood. This was a scrap, something I cut off of something else, I think. But anyway, came out real nice. You can even see the crotch formation there in the bottom of the bowl and on the bottom. So made those, and then had my piece to turn for the live, and I pulled up a piece of wood. I thought it was a chunk of camphor, or excuse me, of apple. But as I got it up to the lathe, I realized it was camphor. And so this is well, I'll go the right direction here in a minute. That's an 11.5 inches by 3.5, I believe it is, or something close to that. Came out real nice. There's the bottom with a little bit of a bead around the recess. Got a little bit of a groove around the rim, just a little added detail. It actually flares out here, then the groove, and then this rim. So you really got something nice to hold on to when you go to pick it up.
That was a
came out really
dynamite
nice.
video. Dynamite.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
It was a lot of fun to do. And the wood, I've had this piece for a number of years now, 4 or 5 years. But I found it moved on me even then. It was dry when I got it, or supposed to be dry. And then I've had it 4 or 5 years sitting here under the lathe. It's had shavings on it and everything else. But it's still moved. There was a little bit right in this area all the way around. The wall and the bottom were not a nice continuous curve, and I had a little bit of tear out in that section. Went back after the live with my bowl gouge, with my bowl scraper, with my Easy Wood finisher, all of those things, working that out, getting a nice smooth curve. But this wall had moved on me, and so gave me a little bit of trouble, but not bad. Once I got a nice smooth curve on it, all my tear out resolved itself. So I was real happy. Had a little bit of a split right in here, that a little bit of super glue, a little bit of Parfex took care of that without any issue. And then I looked over on the side and I saw another bowl, one I showed you all quite a while back, where I cored out a piece of desert olive, and I got a little too thin in the bottom of the mother bowl, and it broke out.
Right, right.
There's the fix. As far as I know, that is a piece of poplar that's in the bottom of that.
Nice job.
There's the bottom of it. Came
What'd
up
you
real
call that?
nice.
What'd you call that, Doug?
This,
Yep.
it's desert olive.
Nah.
Well, when I got it, Dane, I said the same thing when I got it, but that's what the guy was sending me. We traded
Yeah.
wood.
Yeah, it's
Um,
not desert olive wood.
Looks like Russian olive.
Maybe.
Maybe Russian. That is, yeah, a totally different grain pattern.
You think
and
Russian
color.
olive?
Yeah, if anything Russian, but definitely not desert olive wood.
I
It's the
I
right
would
color.
not argue with you. I would
It's the
not
right
argue
color.
with you. So,
It's the right
I
color
have-
for Russian olive.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've labeled it olive is all I said. I wasn't that specific. But it came from a guy out in your neck of the woods, Dane, in Arizona. And we traded. He had turned a piece. I thought, that's pretty wood. I love olive. I contacted him. He was agreeable. I sent him some black walnut. He sent me this. Said it was desert olive, but you
Yeah.
may be very well right that
Yeah,
that's Russian olive.
It's white. Desert olive
Yeah.
is white.
I thought so. More like
It's-
regular olive.
Yeah, it
But
looks-
anyway,
I mean, it's
but regardless, this is the mother bowl of 3 that I corded out.
and
The second
then
one was
so-
perfect.
So one other thing on desert olive wood out here, because we have during the monsoon season, we have massive. They're like mini tornadoes that come through, and they just rock the hell out of the trees, and you will have. It's not full on ring shake, but you will
Right.
have all kinds of cracks in it,
Cracks and voids down in the woods.
and
Sure.
it's like turning concrete.
Yeah. Well, this was hard. This was really hard. So anyway, I'll go with
Right
you
on.
guys. I agree
Good
with you.
piece.
This is Russian
Yeah.
olive as far as I'm concerned. A little piece of poplar. That was just a little piece of scrap that I turned. I had a fairly nice hole here that I took my Dremel with the little sanding barrel and made that nice and round as well as I could do it with my eye. So I turned a piece that would fit in from the bottom side real close. It was tight. Used wood glue. I didn't take the chance on CA. Went ahead and used wood glue so that I'd get a good bond between the 2 pieces. This is
Okay.
slightly raised, not much, but just slightly. But I already had it concaved in on the bottom. So this is the foot. This is the center without any issues. Got my mark on that. Came out real nice. I still got to put some wax on it, but other than that, it's ready to go as well as the big camphor bowl. So that's what I've got this week, guys. Thank you.
Very good, very good. I like the camphor bowl. Color looks great on it.
Thank you. I love camphor. It's just a beautiful wood.
Yes.
Your live yesterday was a highly entertaining, Doug. The banter between everybody was just hysterical. I was on stitches. If y'all get a chance, catch Doug's live on Tuesday afternoons. It's great fun.
When you got Ruby
Bennett,
Claire and Wayne Clasper and Mark Beckett in the background, I don't have to say much at all. It's entertaining.
Yeah, there was a period there where you weren't saying anything. You were just turning. And
Yeah.
there was a lot of conversation back and forth. It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
They just have so much. They just have so much information.
Yes.
Well, I don't think they
really
were talking about turning at all.
No, we talk about food. We talk about you name it. We talk about it. It's hilarious. We have a good time.
Right on.
Yeah, there's a
All
little
right.
bit of translation loss there. You know, they start wading into the slang, and it's like, okay, what does that mean?
Yeah,
That
exactly.
part was funny. That part was funny.
Yeah.
All
Yes.
right, guys.
It was fun.
That was
Okay.
fun.
Thank you all.
All right, let's go to Randy. Hey, Randy.
Good
We got
evening.
you, Randy.
The local woodcraft store has a Turn for the Troops event where they make pens and they invite people. Even non-wood turners can come in. We have had a Girl Scout troop, Boy Scout troop. We have had kids that were small. They're too small to stand at the lathe. We had to give them a step stool to stand on so they were tall enough to reach the lathe. But I am getting ready for that. And this is what is on my table saw at the moment. I have a whole bunch of pen blanks, and they've been drilled and the tubes are in. Some of them are a little short. I cut them a bit too close to the right length, so when I cut them on the table saw, they were a bit too short. But these are slim lines, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not sure that any other woodcraft stores have do this event. Does anybody know if Woodcraft generally does that?
We do it in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay. Definitely a good time is had by all, and we have a great time turning. We introduce people to wood turning, and we have gotten a couple of members of our club that way. So, and that was it. That's what I've been doing for the last day or so.
All right.
Great job, Randy.
Thanks for sharing
Yeah,
there,
nice
Randy.
job, Randy.
All right, Charlie. What you got going on?
Hello.
Yep, look alive.
The wife asked me to make her some Santa Claus. I mean, some snowmen. She says she isn't very crafty, but after I gave her the snowmen, this is what she made.
Oh,
Very
she
nice.
decorated.
Look good, Charlie.
Back it up a little
Can you-
bit, Charlie. We can't see them all.
Can you pull it back? We can't. Yeah.
Turn them into snow.
There you
people.
go.
I'm trying to get them to sit still.
Well, you got to hold it level.
Well, they're on a notebook. I didn't have nothing harder than that.
They are cute.
That's
Nice
great.
I love the
That's
little.
all I had to show.
Right on.
Look
Nice
good.
job.
Your wife definitely is crafty.
Let's go to. Where's he at? There he is. Scott Hampton. Look alive.
Hey, I'm alive. All right. So last Saturday, I IRD on making ornaments, so I thought I'd show you guys one of them that I showed how to make. So, hopefully this will do it. There it is.
Nice.
Oh, very pretty, Scott.
Thank you.
That was a good,
Nice
good
job.
demo.
Yes,
Indeed.
love it.
I Dane was gracious enough to be my moderator for it, which helped out a lot.
Outstanding.
Yeah, sometimes I would make this kind of upside down and it would look more like an icicle, but I thought, those look like water drops. So I thought I'd do them this way, and that's the effect I was going for. Is makes it look like water drops coming off the ornament. So yeah.
Cool.
Very nice.
Thank you. That's what I'm shooting for.
Turned out great. Thanks, Scott.
Yep.
Hey, make sure you put your follow-on part of your IRD in the chat.
Oh yeah, I need to put I'll do that right now. Yeah.
All right.
I got another one coming up on Saturday.
Yep. Put it in the chat.
Yep.
All right. Let's go to Huey. Hey, Huey.
Yep, hang on. Okay. The last 12, 18 months, I've been chasing down different types of steels for basically to deal with the hardwood that I kind of face every day here. And I've got a few posts on the AEAW site, but this one, if you can see it, is a piece of tungsten carbide tube that I picked up from China. It's fun grinding it. It's double-ended, as you can see. I was going to cut it in half, but I think I'll just slot it into a larger shaft. And the idea is that, well, that I don't spend so much of my darn time grinding. I've got some blackwood here, which has got a lot of silica in it, and the Thompson 5/8 gouge, I get maybe 3 cuts with it, and it has a polished edge. You can't cut it with it. So I basically have the grinder sitting next to me. You can't touch it up. It's a grind job. And so I've had one of these for a while, and it's worked really well. This is the first time I've had to go out and make my own one, and basically it should work very well. Okay, sharpening is going to be a hassle, but I've found that you can get the 8-inch diamond discs out of China for a few bucks, and they will mount on the outside of your CBN wheel, and so that works really, really well for touching up these rather fancy tungsten carbide tips. The reason being is that a lot of the stuff I turn is up 3,000 to 4,000 on the Anchor scale. You might ask, why do I do that? Well, a lot of the time I don't have much option. And some of the stuff is very highly figured, and so there we are. And when you finally get it done after a bit of an argument, you've got a tremendous finish and a tremendous piece. But it does argue. You do earn your credits on this one.
Do you have any of your pieces handy?
Well, I've just moved house, and so I'll maybe. It's not hardwood. This is a piece of Douglas fir. By the growth rings, I say it's probably a Canadian import, because the stuff we grow here, it grows very, very rapidly.
Gorgeous.
This is a bit of a. This is easy to turn, but you've got to have sharp tools and a reasonably good technique, otherwise.
You're going to tear out.
So, but this is very old. It came out of a house about 100 years old. They radically modified it, and they were throwing away some what amounted to be, well, not throwing, but selling some 12-inch by 3-inch beams. I managed to pick one up about 20 feet long for about $80, which I thought was quite reasonable. I just cut into 12-inch squares, and that's it. But yeah, because I'm moving, I've got my workshop is in one place, partly. It's partly in the garage, and so I won't be set up until after Christmas. So it's just one of those things. It is what it is. That's it for me.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Nice piece.
All right, let's go across the pond here. Go to Mr. Hannaby. Hey, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Yeah. Evening. How's it going?
There we go.
Yeah, I've just got back. I've just been this evening off to do a demo club a couple of hours away. So a couple of hours there, do a demo, and a couple of hours back. So I got home about midnight, just in time to join the meeting. But I've got it's not a bit of turn, it's a bit of workshop organisation. So I thought you might be interested. This is I made this last week and put it on the wall in my workshop. So these are all chuck hubs, which are threaded to the thread on my lathe. So that's the board with the hubs on, and that's after I've added the chucks, etc., and faceplates. So I've got a pile of this stuff that I kept moving around, and I thought I ought to organise my workshop better. So I've done that and put them all on.
11 chucks.
Hey, Paul, did you get the spacing correct on the first try?
Pardon?
Did you get your chuck spacing correct on the first try?
Yeah, it worked out right first time. Yeah, fortunately.
Right on.
Nice.
But yeah, I thought you might be interested in seeing that. I've got a few more faceplates and things I need to make another board for, but I'll work in progress on the second one.
Yeah, very good.
Looks great. Nice idea.
I need a lot of that kind of help.
Great idea.
Are those 3D printed?
Yes, they were. Yes.
Very cool.
Okay.
There's some folks there's a lot of folks who are 3D printing those things. Did you get your template off from online somewhere?
There are some available online if you go to Thingiverse, but
Yeah.
I did the drawings for those myself.
Gotcha. Very nice.
Yeah, I did have a look on there a while ago and see what was available in terms of wood turning and templates. And there's a few interesting sort of sets of chuck jaws and things like that. I was going to have a go at printing sometime, but I've not got around to doing those yet. But yeah, I mean, those were a fairly simple drawing, so I did it myself and modified the basic sort of ones that were on Thingiverse and thought, yeah, I can adapt that as a sort of concept and then tweak it a bit for how I want to make mine. What I did with mine, I put a screw hole through the center. So, I mean, I was just a little bit dubious about putting the weight of a chuck on the just the plastic. So, I've got a center screw. So you put a counter screw right in the middle of the hub. So that's taking the weight of the chuck as well as the plastic. So it just belt and braces really, just in case.
Right.
It might be unnecessary, but I'd rather do that and find out the chucks are breaking off the hub falling on the floor.
Right. Yeah, I hear you. Good stuff. Thanks, Paul.
Cheers.
All right, let's stay in the UK and let's go see what Mr. Tyndall's got going on. Hey, Steve.
Hello. I'm in Ireland. No UK. Not
Island
anymore.
nation. Okay, gotcha.
Not
Gotcha.
not for the last 15, 20 years anyway.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. If you
You're
put
all right.
Ireland on there, I would have known you was in Ireland.
Yes, you could have said we're staying in the British Isles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
we're
Europe.
North Atlantic. I could have said everything except for staying in the UK. Yeah. Whatever.
So I got a couple of things. This is I had a bit of a practice with my skew the other day. I want to that's
cool.
13 axes.
Wow.
And it spirals and twists.
Yeah, pretty.
You go around one axis each time.
It's like a
and
tornado.
You
yeah.
said 13 axes.
Yes.
Marty pants.
Yeah. So
He just trying to show off.
the whole point,
He's never turned anything sensible.
the whole point of turning that was to get my skew work doing. I want to be able to master skew while doing multi-axis because I want to get in tight. And sometimes with a gouge, you can't get the V cut as tight as you want. So
Do you start at all going center and then go from one end of your of what one end and every eighth of an inch?
So the way I worked this was I marked out I used the compass and I split the circle up into 12 equal parts. And I marked 1 to 12 adjacently all the way around. And then I started from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, and all the way around that way. And all I did was, I started with a bead, cut a bead, and then I just cut the sides off of each bead. And then that told me when the next one started. So I kept the beads the same size as I went along and the same width. Obviously they get bigger and smaller as you get closer to the headstock. It would have actually been that way around on the lathe. So I would have started this end and worked my way closer to the headstock. And it gets smaller and smaller, obviously, because you're getting less wood or more airwood. So yeah, that the whole idea of that was to try and get as good a cut as I could. That there's no sanding in that, but this is poplar, and it's the European poplar, so it's soft. So all the edges, you've got a couple of breakouts on the edges, but other than that, it's pretty smooth. So I was quite happy with that.
Looks to me like you mastered it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do another one on a nice piece of wood, but then I'm going to carve and put a Tasmanian devil at the top.
Yeah. Yep.
So it looks as if he's spinning.
Yep.
And then I'm going to my in the first week of November. I'm going to my very first club meeting here in Ireland. I've never really joined a wood turning club, but I was invited when I was at the symposium there a couple of weeks ago. And they're doing a box challenge, a lidded box challenge. So I decided to bring the multi-axis into the lidded box, and I got this. It's a yew burl branch, and I've turned it so it looks as if the box is twisting out of the burl.
I think I saw that. I think I saw that on YouTube. Or
Saw that on Facebook today.
Facebook. That's right. That's Facebook. Yeah.
So when they processed, whoever processed, I've had this piece of wood for a long time. When they processed it, they cut the top of the burl at 45 degrees for some reason. So there was a natural 45 degrees. I just sanded it flat, and I got a piece of sapele, and I literally glued the block at that angle at 45 so that the grain was facing down. So I added to the twist effect. I don't know if the camera's picking up the grain there.
Far away. Now you can see it.
Oh my.
Okay.
My God.
That's fantastic.
So I then,
Incredible.
I'm never really great at glue ups, but I'm never too worried because I can do inlay. So I didn't worry too much about it being brilliant on the glue up. And then once I turned the shape, I then went back with the Dremel and cleaned out that, and I put black CA and African blackwood dust in it. So it caused like a nice black joint all the way around. This here was an inclusion, and it was really deep, and I wouldn't have got the box hollowed without having a hole. So I cut a piece of African blackwood and set that in there as well. And then the lid screws off,
Oh my goodness.
and this is a brass 1-inch plumbing fitting that I cut and filed on the lathe. And this would have been the nut that I just ground the hex off the outside of it and turned it round. And then this would have been the plumbing fitting. And I set that in. And then this is black walnut lid that I twisted as well and then hollowed. The light isn't great in here, but I hollowed that out as well. And then on the bottom, just screw that on so I don't drop it. It's still sucking in oil. It's still not finished. It keeps just pulling in the oil, so I just keep adding oil to it. And on the bottom, I added like a spiral effect to make it look as if the whole thing's spinning. So when you're looking at it, the theme continues at the bottom.
That's a pretty piece of art. Believe me, Steve. That's beautiful.
That's really nice, Steve.
All right,
Awesome.
now my camera,
Yeah, you just went out. Yeah.
my camera
Good
keeps
stuff there,
turning
Steve.
off.
Well, it's gorgeous. You can hear us.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
let's
Yeah, that was really cool, buddy.
we're gonna do one more gallery item, then we're gonna go to Safety Sue, and then we're gonna go to our demo, folks. How about that? Let's see. Kelly, you there?
Ain't there?
Oh no. Uh-oh.
He's run away.
Left the building.
Kelly, what the hell? All right, well, let's go to Safety
I'm
Sue.
here. I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just switched the camera around and I'm not good at that. Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Okay, cool. I turned a couple things this weekend and
Need to switch
I got
order. Hold on. I'm looking at your empty chair.
oh, it's the other camera.
Oh.
Oh,
Explains it. Here we go. Got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I turned a couple more vases. This one's walnut. That one's a maple burl. This one's a piece of mesquite that I put a tenon on so that you could put it on top of the glass. And this one was a maple burl. And turned another chip plate, a bowl in a bowl,
Oh,
I got some ash, pecan. It had a fracture in it down there, so I filled it with some turquoise like rock I got at SWAT,
Cool.
It looks better in person. Got one of those seashell ornaments with the finial.
You've been busy.
And I didn't like this one at first. You can kind of see the size is it's huge. It's like 6 inches tall and 14 inches wide. I didn't like it at first when I put the paint on it, but when the paint settled down and kind of smoothed over, I actually started liking it. So I need to go back in and sand out my overspray, but that's a huge one.
That's beautiful.
So how'd you put that paint on, Kelly?
I used automotive paints. I did a primer and then metallic red. And then I got this specialty paint. I'll find a can of it and show it in a little while. It comes out stringy like that. Pretty neat.
And then it dries rough.
Well, it did dry rough, and then it kind of smoothed out after a while. So I'm liking it better now that it's smoothed out.
Yeah, it looks
I was
pretty
just
cool, Kelly.
impatient.
Yeah.
That's actually my favorite thing there.
I like this sea urchin.
But actually, here's another one that I liked a lot. This is actually a piece of cherry.
Mm.
Nice.
It's fully evolved.
Cool.
The texture is beautiful.
Yeah, so I got
Yes.
the texture on it, the bottom and the top with that gold in there.
That's cool.
Yeah, it looks good.
The cherry's kind of plain, so it looked better embellished.
Looks like you got a Band-Aid.
Oh no, that's my ring. The tattoo.
It looks like you need a Band-Aid too.
I probably do. All right, I'm gonna switch back to my PC.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thanks, Kelly.
All right, Sue, what you got for us this evening?
Well, it seems like Captain Eddie and I always have about the same thing coming to mind. And I was going to talk about some safety shields. I had read an article of a turner back in 2012. Her name is Lynn Yamaguchi. I'm sure many of you have heard of her. She's a fantastic turner. And she had a very tragic accident in 2012. And ever since, she's been recovering, but she's back to turning full time again. So I'm going to read you part of this article. I'm going to skip part of it, but I'm going to go. Anyways, it's going to be a little bit long today, but I just wanted to read this to you to show you just how fragile our faces. Anything can happen in a second. And this article was written by Lynn, and she says, safety manners from the eye of a survivor. Pretty safe. I would always say I've been pretty safe. My answer 2 years ago, if you ask me now, was while I was turning, following safety guidelines, I dressed appropriately. I wore a respirator, and I wear face shields, except when sanding. I sand on a platform so I can work ergonomically. I'm short. I keep my tools sharp and equipment maintained. I read manuals carefully, including warnings. I would not dream of working after drinking a beer. I like imperfections, so I take calculated risks, turning unbalanced, irregular, and flawed work. But I also take extra precautions and countermeasures. I am a bit clumsy and distractible, but not reckless. and I am experienced since turning has been my full-time occupation since 2003. On September 21st, 2012, I learned I was not safe enough. I was turning an end grain hollow vessel from a short segment of badly cracked mesquite, about 6.5 inches long, and the diameter was 10 inches. I had chosen a crack log to fill an order of vessels with turquoise inlay, 12 of which I had already safely turned. The wood was obviously dangerous, and I had been treating it with as such, shaping the exterior at a low 150 RPM to 450 RPM between centers and wrapping duct tape around the shoulders and body before hollowing. I had mounted the vessel in a chuck to hollow, using speeds up to 550 RPM. Because of the cracks, I deliberately left the wall substantial, 1.25 to more than 2 inches thick, planning to reduce it further after finishing the interior. As I finished hollowing, I turned up the speed to 1200 RPMs to make a few cleanup passes. This speed did not feel unsafe. There was no vibration, and I was out of the line of fire. Although I normally dial the speed up and down to 0 every time I start or stop the lathe. In this case, after I found the sweet spot, a smooth, fast speed that allowed a clean cut on uninterrupted surface, I used the power button to stop, check my cut, and restart for another cut or two. I stopped and restarted once or twice, possibly 3 times. Then I stopped to answer the phone. Without the interruption, what would likely have happened, based on previous experience, is this. I would have sucked the shavings out, taken a last look, and deciding I was ready to start filling the interior cracks, I would have reached over to turn the speed back to 0 without turning the lathe back on. But the interruption happened. Answering the phone call interrupted my normal sequence. Further, it changed the protection I was wearing. Up until that point, I had been wearing a half-mask respirator, my glasses, a full face shield. To answer the phone, I took off my face shield and dropped my respirator. After hanging up, I straight away pulled the respirator back on out of habit. Instead of putting the face shield back on, however, I took a moment to look at the vessel. I had cut as much as I dared from the interior. The exterior curve at the mouth was not quite as I wanted, so I decided to look at the vessel spinning to see past the duct tape to check the rest of the curve. I pulled the power button on. I cannot blame the interrupter for what happened, and I know from experience the hazard of turning the lathe when the speed is high. I had in fact been trained myself to check the speed dial position before turning the lathe back on after an interruption. This I failed to do. My foul, my harm. When I turned the lathe back on, the high speed did not trigger alarm. I often turn at high speed, working on smaller, more delicate pieces, and I was only looking after all. The irony is that my next step would have been to turn the lathe off. I have a clear image of the piece as I last saw it, wrapped in duct tape. I could have touched up the exterior surface even if I'd wanted to. Also, the was not the right one, and I had not even raised it for use. If I had my forearm up, it might have provided some protection. As it was, I was just looking. I heard the wood give and something slammed my face. I stepped back off my platform and dropped to my knees. I could feel warm liquid begin to flow from my face. Now, I'm not going to go into gory detail. We're going to pass all that. The damage, all the bones on the left side of her face were broken. Went from the top of her teeth to her eyebrow, and from inside her nose to her temple. They were all fractured. It took 4 titanium plates to reconstruct her face. The bone at my temple was pulverized. with not enough left intact to even attach a plate. My eyelids were split through and hanging loose. My lower eyelid did not survive. My brilliant surgeon has since made a new one and is using cartilage from my ear. And she speaks on about all her injuries. Given the severity of my injuries, I wondered how much difference my face shield would have made. Now, we all know that it would have made a little difference. But in her case, just how much difference. Now, I'm not advocating taking off your face shield. Make sure you always have that on. But in her circumstance, she got hit with 125 joules, which is the kinetic speed. Face shields in the United States, the safety standards for eyeglasses and face shields are specified in the NASI Z87.1. They haven't, I looked them up today. This article was written in 2014. I looked them up. They have not changed. Under those specifications, to be rated impact resistant, a face shield needs to withstand an impact of about 4 joules of kinetic energy and a penetrating impact of about 6 joules. The vessel I was turning broke into 3 pieces, and the one that hit me weighed 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds, traveling at nearly 16 meters per second. It struck me with 127 joules. What's interesting is that Europe, Australia, and New Zealand, they have higher standards. With they have the highest rating, high energy impact, and extra high impact, respectively. But even those would not have protected her because they go up to 15 joules. When you're doing a high impact, we want to make sure we stay out. We know that even remember the face shield that Scott had when he was turning and he showed the impact when the item hit his face shield, it helped.
Yeah.
He had to replace the face shield, but he did not get hurt. But can you imagine something coming at you at 127 joules? The woman now wears a police riot gear helmet because they're rated for 111 joules, and it's enough to cover her face. She can still wear goggles or eyeglasses, her safety glasses, and a respirator under it. But what I'm saying today is your face and your eyes. My gosh, people, we need to protect them. The best you can go higher than what she did. She said that, and this was in 2014, the shields for the police riot gear, they are under $100. Now with inflation, I'm sure it's more than that. But and they do come pretty light. She says she's chosen the lightest one. I just want everybody to know that even for professionals, it only takes a second. Make sure you have your face shield on. One thing that I did learn today by reading the ANSI guidelines is that the face shield is part of it, but for people that are working with a face shield for impact, they must also have safety glasses underneath it. So just remember, I have prescription safety glasses, and I do wear those underneath my face shield. So I'm just saying, guys and gals, it doesn't matter who you are. Be safe out there. Try not to get any interruptions, because at that point, you're not going to do what you normally do. And I just want everybody to be safe out there. Now, on a lighter moment, I was talking to my sister today, talking about the safety topic that I was going to do. And she doesn't know anything about turning. you know, she just says it's a tool, but she does know the name of a grinder. So she goes, this is what you tell them. You can grind all day long, but if you come back with 4 fingers and 2 thumbs, it's a good day. So with that, I'm going to end that. Say, folks, make it a good day, and I hope to see you next week. Take care.
Right on. Thanks, Sue.
Thank you, Sue.
All right.
Thank you, Sue.
Let's go to
You're welcome.
Let's go to Bob Grinstead for our demonstration tonight. Hey, Bob.
What?
There you go. Let me get that off my screen here so I can see something. Yeah, what I want to show you tonight, guys, is how I made this bell. This is actually out of plywood. It was laminated. I have plywood in the middle. I have a piece of oak on one side, and I had a piece of maple on the other side. So, but anyway, it turned out pretty good. I don't know if you can see the difference in the grain here. There was one, I almost had it. I get the light on it just right, and it does change where it hit that oak. But anyway, that's what I want to show as a demo tonight, is how I made it. They do ring. It has a little bell in the bottom of it. So let me show you my video. Let's see here. Okay, I'm Bob Grinstead, and I want to show you how I make a bell.
You can't see it, Bob.
Can't see it yet or not.
Sharing the.
Well, let's do a share. Share screen. Got a real bell inside of it.
Share the screen.
It's made out of laminated material. How about that? Let me show you how I do that.
There you go. Got it.
I laminated some wood here. I don't have any veneer, so I didn't put that in there, but I do have plywood. So I've got Baltic birch plywood, and sandwiched it with oak both sides. You're going to get a bell out of this side and a bell out of that side. So it depends on the material that you have out here as to what's going to show. So I take a piece of wood like this, a regular piece of 1 inch stock or 3/4, whatever it is, 7/8, and on a table saw, and then I glue it up. That's up to this is the side that's cut, so it's rough. Sanding it again, I just put that on the outside because it's going to get cut away in it. And then I'm going to cut this like this. The width of this is the width of the bell. If you put 2 of them together, this is half the bell. The width is half of the bell. So when you put 2 of them together, that's how wide that bell is going to be. So this piece and this piece are going to get glued together. And then it's going to be twice this wide, and that's how wide the bottom of the bell is. The height of the bell, I've got it about 3 inches because I want to cut these pieces and glue them back up, and I want this last 1/4 inch out here to be a tenon. So I'm going to put it on the lathe, turn a tenon on my square block, and they get cut like this, and then you glue the pieces together. So you glue them together, you'll have a flat side, and you glue 2 more together, and then you put all 4 of them together, and I'll show that later in another video. But that's how you get the width. And the height of it is strictly how wide this is. So I'm planning on cutting it off. I want a tenon on this end, just a small tenon so I can hold it, because I do have to drill it. And so this is about 3 inches or a little over 3 inches tall. And I did cut that on the table saw too. You can cut it on a bandsaw, doesn't matter because that rough side is sticking out. So when you cut it, let me find a pencil here. So when you cut it, you're really cutting 45. You cut this off, and then you cut a 45, and you flip it over, and you cut another one, you flip it over, cut the other direction. So you end up with 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of that out this side, and they go together to make a bell. And these 4 pieces go together to make a bell. So in the example I've got here, this thing ended up being, I got a 1/2 inch piece of plywood in here. So this ends up being a little less than 1.5 inches. So by the time I get through cutting the bell, because it's not going to be exactly perfect, but you round off the edges, it's going to be less than my 3 inches. You know, if it's 1.5 inches, and I'm going to double it, that's 3 inches. But when you turn it, it's actually going to be a little less than 3 inches in diameter. So this one here is going to be, I said, to 1.5 inches. That's not 1.25 inches. So I'm at 2.5 inches. So it's going to be, my bell is going to be less than 2.5 inches wide. All right, so let me get those cut for you and show you how to glue them up. Good, let me show you what I've got here. I'm going to cut the 45s, or I've already cut them. But I do have a fence on here. It gives me more leverage, I guess, if you want to call it that, to keep this thing straight instead of just a little miter gauge. And I can slide it back and forth on here. So what I do is I slide it up and then make a cut, so I know exactly where it's going to cut. And it also gives me support. You know, this little fence would support the cut as it comes through. It keeps it from breaking out. And then I have a stop block over here that I can adjust. It's just a couple of pieces of wood it doesn't have to be, it could be thinner. And sometimes I do flip it over and use this side on the bottom just to get it lower on the ground if I got smaller pieces. But it adjusts. You undo it and screw it in and out. It has a, what do you call them? One of those screw thing, one of those nuts in here, like a T-nut, but it's not not a T-nut. It's the other kind you screw in. And then I have a screw on this side just to hold it, so I can put it up against it and hold it so it doesn't try to unscrew whenever I loosen this thing up. So anyway, so I cut them and I use that stop block to adjust that distance. So right now I've got to, I'm way on in. I got it way off here, but I just threw it back up here so I could do the video. But it ought to be about right there. And I can lock it in here again. Okay, so I've got them all cut, all 45s cut, and now all I got to do is glue them together. And you glue a set at a time and try to get these lines lined up here. But before I do that, I knock all the fuzzies off. I don't want to get it in the glue gun. So that's easy. You just wipe them across here. Doesn't take much to get them off. But you do need to do something with them. So let me do all those, and I'll glue up a block. All right, so I have them all sanded, and now all I need to do is to glue them up. And I'm going to glue them up in pairs, like this, and get those seams as straight as you can across this side right here. Because you get those two glued up, and you get another step glued up here, and then you glue them together. But first, we're going to go ahead and glue all of them together as pairs, so that if it does need a little of adjustment, you just sand it a little. And it doesn't take a lot to smooth, smear that glue around, and just let it set, just like that. So you line up the points through there and let that thing set a few minutes. And we are going to put them together, put the others together. So let me keep gluing these. Doesn't take a whole lot of glue. You just want to make sure it's covered. And yeah, like I said, just try to get the points to match. And that's about it. Let me hold it a little bit. It's not going to go anywhere. Kind of like putting segments together for a bowl. You know, you can glue them up 2 by 2, just like this, and then put them together. Feel like that one there is off a little bit. Okay. All right, so I've got the halves glued up, and then I sand this side flat with some type of a sander. Here I've got a disc sander set up and a platform on my lathe. But so I could just sand them flat. So you get them flat so they'll go together. All right, so I've got all the halves sanded, just like that. I'm not worried about this outside. It's all going to get cut off. This right here might not be exactly right, but you're not going to see it a whole lot. It's just going to be just a hair on the edge. But the main thing what you want to do is to line up this point right here on both sides, because that's what you're going to use for a center to center it up on your lathe. So let me do that. Let me glue this thing up a little bit. And again, all I'm really worried about are these 2 points. When I get it just about where I want it, I hold it there a minute. I think that's going to be it about it. And glue the rest of them up. You know, if the points are off a little bit, the center is off a little bit, you can adjust that when you come back, and I come back and drill a little hole in there just to make it a little deeper, a little easier to see. But I think those will be fine. The center of this you're never going to see anyway. You know, where they right in here, that all is going to be covered up with the handle and the bell on the other side. So you never see that. So out of those 2 pieces, I guess they were probably 15, 18 inches long. I was able to get 6 bells out of it. Or it looks like I'm going to be able to. All right, so now I have drilled starter holes in each end just to hold it in place with a spur drive and the tailstock. And I can turn a small tenon on this end, one end, and then round it out. All right, so I now have a small tenon on here. And I'm gonna do that on all of them so I don't have to keep changing. And then I'll put a chuck on here. Okay, now that I got the bell shape at the end done, I can drill it. I don't want to keep taking this down here because it gets too thin and it'll break later. So I want to go ahead and drill it out right now and finish the inside. But the outside looks pretty good right now. Okay, I want to drill a 1-inch hole. The bell I have is only 3/4, so it'll leave me plenty of room for it to ring in there. But I don't want to get it too deep, so I've got it set to go. It looks like about 1.5 inches here into the bell. I still have to cut it off, but I have plenty of meat up here to cut it off. So let me get it drilled. Yeah, I use air to clean out the sawdust in here as it drills, so it doesn't get stopped up, and it also cools the bit off, so it doesn't get real. Let me go ahead and drill all these, or get them back to this stage, and then we'll do another. All right, so we got them drilled, and now I just need to get this inside out. Let me turn the lathe back up. And Okay, so that's as thin as I'm gonna get it. It doesn't take much to turn that inside out, because you have, that 1 inch hole going in there. So it just takes a little bit, and now let me sand this. And that doesn't take a lot either. Okay, so I've got that sanded to 400. And I don't have to go way back up in here because the bell is gonna be covering all that up anyway. Okay, so I've got them all, the lip all done, it's all sanded on the inside to 400. The outside of this is at 400, but I'll probably sand it some more in. But, now we're just gonna take this down, and before we cut it off, we're gonna sand it. The last one I did, I cut it off too soon. But we're gonna see if we can't not do that. Looks pretty good. I can sand that out. And go be good shape. Slow it down a little bit. I know I stand too fast, but I'm always in a hurry. too aggressive, I guess. Okay, so now that I get it to 400, I can cut it off. And when I part it off, I really want to make it kind of concave so that when I put the handle in here, it'll fit good. Yeah. So it did slip here. I'm going to have to sand that some more in here. So it's got some burn marks, but the outside is a nice faulting in that oak. So that's going to look good. And I'll need to come back and drill a hole in here and kind of round these edges off there. Yeah, I have a 3/8 inch brad point bit in here. It's 3/8 because I'm going to drill holes in these to put the handle in, and I want I have a 3/8 inch plug cutter. So in case the spindle, when I make it, the handle, when I make it, if I don't get this exactly 3/8, I can come back with that plug cutter and cut them to 3/8 real easy. But right now, I just want to fill these holes a little bit. And to get it started, I just need to find that center and kind of make a little hole in it. So it'll go in there. And weld it up to it so I can find it. And then bring it down to it. And I can drill as deep as I want. But I'm a little too far on this end, so I've got to go all the way through this time. And come back and put a plug in it. Well, let me do that again. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little starter hole in here. So I can find the center. Back down and drill, but I don't want to go too deep. I don't want to drill that hole out in there because that's what I'm going to use to put my little eyelet in. And then yeah, I have some blocks cut up for the handles. They're just regular at 3/4 inch stock, and I just made it square. I just cut some square blocks out of it. So they're about 3/4 or 7/8 and about 7 inches long. And that's what I'm going to make the handles out of. They could be longer, they could be shorter. You just decide when you get up here and get creative and doing this. So I do have some blocks cut out here and going to make the handles out of it. Okay, so I've got my 7-inch piece in here. And I'm going to turn it. I want this to be the top of the handle so that I can round it off and make sure it's nice and smooth and sanded. And then this becomes the tendon. when I'm gonna size the pinions for the 3/8 inch ring, because I want a 3/8 inch pinion on here. I have a plug cutter, so if it's not exactly the right size, I can come back and screw it up with a plug cutter. And the ring, you can see, has a cut off. Ground point here on the short side. That's it. And then I would set it off. Okay, this is the bell that I accidentally drilled all the way through it, and then I made this handle for it, but the handle's too tight. You know, even though I have used that wrench, it's still a little snug. So what I'm going to do is to use a plug cutter. Here's a set of plug cutters. They're got this at Harbor Freight. I think it's $4.95 or something. It's pretty cheap. But there is a 3/8 inch plug cutter in here. So let me put that in and show you how that works. And it's just like that. It's pretty easy to do. Be perfect. Yep. Why, I forgot the video putting the CA glue on here at 3408. So I'm going to do that, just kind of show you here a minute. I just fold up a paper towel, you know, half of a little sheet of one of those quarters, and fold it and take the CA glue and put a little bit on here and just rub it on. You know, and just wipe it on here. And you can see it change colors as you do it. You know, anything you put on is going to change colors. But I just put it on there and then let them dry. So now they're dried, and I'm going to go buff them out and then put a bell in. Okay. Got the Parfix on, and need to buff these out. I use Vonex to as a buffing compound. So let me kind of do that. We got it buffed, ready to go. Just need to put a little eyelet in the bottom of it and wire it in the bell. These little bells are a 3/4 inch little bell. It's down here, doesn't have a ringer in it. There you go. 3/4 inch little bell. Got it Hobby Lobby. The little eyelets I'm using might be a little small, but but that's what I've got and what I'm going to use. They're like a 3 millimeter, I think is what they call them. But they're real little. You know, 6 might have been fine, or 5 or something. I don't know how they come. So let me get this thing in here. And so I got the little eyelet in there. And now I just use some wire. Just some I had left over from probably some Christmas project. Just a lightweight wire. I'll put a little bit around the bell. I don't try to make it tight because I do want it to ring freely. I put a little bend in the end of it so I can get it through that eyelet down there. And pull it up. And pull it up enough. I don't know if you can see this or not. When I pull it up enough, that might be too far. Pull it up enough to where when I turn it upside down, the bell doesn't hit the floor, doesn't hit the surface you're setting it on. And I just hold the bell in the wire and give it a twist or two. As long as it twists around it a little bit. Not like anybody's going to be pulling on the bell. So now he's inside here and ring. I don't like, I never liked bells before because I didn't ever see the one that rang. They always have a clapper in here, a wood clapper or something, and it don't make any noise. And all you can do is pick it up and look at it. With this, you can actually pick it up and ring it. So I like that bell. So that's it. That's the video making the bell. Hope you liked it, and see you next time.
All right. That's it, guys.
What a great demonstration. If anybody has any questions or comments, ask Bob now.
That's really cool, Bob. Ring the bell right now, Bob. Ring the bell.
There you go. Bob. Ring that bell. Yeah.
I got a question.
Yep. Go ahead.
All right. What was it you put on the outside of the plywood? Was it oak on both sides?
Yeah, that one I did oak on both sides. This one looks like I have a maple or something on the other side of this one. No, maybe not. Maybe that was maybe that little white ring that it has on here is really plywood. I think it is. It's hard to tell.
Okay.
No, it's probably oak on both sides. It's oak, and if you look in here, you can actually see the square, and it's dark. So this ring you're seeing up here is strictly off that plywood.
That's a great idea.
And I loved that tenon guide thing that you made.
The
All the hoops in it. You measured the
yeah. You just take a piece of paneling and cut circles in it, and then cut it down the middle.
Yeah, that thing was awesome.
2 pieces, but then you can have the definite 1 inch, inch and a half, inch and 3/4, whatever size you want.
Bob, there was one equipment question. On the far side of your lathe there is that black striated piece. What is that?
Or side. You talking about a steady rest?
Or behind
It was on the back side of your lathe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's behind the lathe on the ground there, or back up against the wall.
No.
Steady rest.
No, this was on.
It's part of the shop smith.
Kind of looked like a radiator.
Yeah.
Had something plugged into it.
Yeah,
Oh, you better go back.
Yes, it's
look at what?
it's finned. It was black on top, red on the bottom. Finned.
I think it's a light, isn't it?
Oh, that's my light.
Okay,
Yeah, that's my LED light you're looking at.
that's what I thought. Okay.
It's just on a post coming up there.
You've got a blower. You've got a blower on the back of it with a filter. Does your shot smith overheat?
Yeah, they all do. And the old style, the old one with the Reeves drive,
Yeah.
built in it. If you ran it long enough, that thing would overheat too, and it would get super hot. It just wouldn't quit. But the electronic ones, the newer ones that are variable speed, when they get hot, they shut off. And so this thing definitely shuts off. And if you run it too long, putting a lot of pressure on it, it does get too hot. It will overheat.
Well, that turns 10,000 RPM, doesn't it?
No, it still only will turn about 4,000 is about the highest it'll go. But no, I take it back. I think this one will turn higher. But anyway, I never get it up, so I really don't know. But you're right. I think you can do shaping with this, so it probably will.
The old ones will get up to almost 5,500. It's the new ones that'll get up to 10,000 RPMs, a little faster than that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones with the variable speed electronic motor in them, a little faster.
Yeah, but like I said, I never go there, so I don't know. But it probably does, and I'm sure you're right because it will shape. I mean, you can use it as a shaper. So
You'd have to have a 1/2-inch steel face shield for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
But,
stand a half mile away.
Your routers all do that. They all get up that high.
They sure do.
Yeah. But the main thing about the blower just sits on the back of it. It's not physically attached by any screws or anything. There's a little hole on the back side of all the shop smiths. It's like a little cover plate. And you can take that loose, and that's what I do. I loosen it up, flip it out of the way, and then I set this blower in here. I made a little a connecting block here that you can just set it in here, and it'll stay there. It will never come out of it.
That's pretty smart. Idea. Yeah.
Nice job. Yeah.
But that works real well. It never gets hot. Never overheats. So you got to have a blower though. You can't have just a fan. I mean, this thing is a regular. I don't know what you call it, a centrifugal blower. What do you call that thing? But it's got a squirrel cage. Yeah, for a blower.
Yeah.
Nice. But it's awfully close.
Wow.
Would there be a disadvantage to putting your little eyelet into the handle and then attach your string and then glue it all into the top?
The only real disadvantage you have there is the placement of it, because you got to drill the hole just the right depth, or make your handle the tenon on the handle just the right length to get it to just stick through into the bell.
Yeah, I got you.
So to not do that, that's the reason I drilled the hole not as deep, and I made the tenons, maybe a 1/2 inch. They're not very long. And it's plenty long. I mean, it's plenty long to hold it. All it's got to do is just be leave them 1/4 of an inch, but hold it in there, the handle in there.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I like the question that Duxbury asked. When you ring the bell, does the maid come running?
No.
No?
Only if you have a maid, right?
It did. Only if you have a maid. She probably wouldn't come then, You know how they help you. But I enjoyed making them, and they were easy to make. I like things that are easy and yet they still look good. So, all right. Well, appreciate it, guys.
Yep, nice demo.
Nice.
Right on.
Great.
All right, let's span back to Captain Eddie here, and then afterwards we'll get on with some more gallery. Captain Eddie.
And Bob and I did not get together about this glue joint that I spoke about when we opened up the meeting today. And he was laughing about I was talking about Gorilla Glue's black lines. You see, Bob faced up his pieces when he glued them in and didn't have to apply tons of pressure. He had good fitting surfaces. He showed you how he did it. He faced them up on his lathe, had good, smooth, compactable surfaces, connectable surfaces, and it worked out nice. Those are work of art. They're really beautiful and very nice projects. And if you're into crafts for the holidays, there's one. So if you're out making something for giveaways, or if you're going to go mooch dinner for Christmas, bring a little Christmas bell along with you too. Don't forget, you got to take care of the kiddies this year. Ornamental, a little ornaments, little neck fobs. I saw some pictures of our members on Facebook the other day, and somebody had grandkids, all the grandkids. Every one of them had a little medallion on, a little ring on, and they were all turned using the Duxbury jig with the different offsets on it. And a real simple project we've shown here, and we got a demonstration. And by the way, all these demonstrations, if you don't get them, or you miss them, or you want to see them again, they're on the world's greatest website for wood turning, the world's greatest website for wood turning, Worldwide Wood Turners. That's where you find it all. That's where the tips and the hints and all the tricks and all that go. So that's where we'd like you to be when you put something up. And go there. You've got something you want to post, go right there, worldwidewoodturners.org. And on 11/22/23, we're going to have a special program that evening. We want you to join in, because every one of us has got a little tip or a trick that we use in our workshop to make things just a little bit different, a little bit better. You saw him using a wrench for a gauge. You saw him using a piece of the plywood. Those are tricks and tips that Bob uses when he turns. He just shared them with you. Now, well, you've got those in your pocket. You got those tricks and those ideas. Well, we're looking for them. That'll be November 22nd. We'll be right here for tips and tricks. It's a good time, and we'll tear all the band-aids off. We'll look for every one of you new turners to come up with something at night. Yeah. I mean, how often can you go in somebody's shop and say, hey, what's that? What's it do? Here's your chance. You're going to be able to say, you know what this is? You know what it does? Well, it's that simple. It's going to be November 22nd, right here, worldwidewoodturners.org. We still have stickers available. We're all caught up on mailings right now. So if you've ordered stickers, they're in the mail to you. If you want stickers, the details are on the front page of our website, and that's where you'll find things that send us $5. There's a place where you can get my PayPal address to send you a PayPal payment. That'll get you 10 stickers. That's right. I see one on the back of Brenda's chair tonight. They look just about like this. Yeah. And you get 10 of those stickers in a regular number 10 envelope. Now, if you're outside the United States, I need one more dollar, which makes it $6 for 10 stickers, and because of postage. And we will send them on to you. We want you to help us spread the word of Worldwide Woodturners. Next, if you have a shirt like Dane's got a shirt on tonight that's got the Worldwide Woodturners, he's been screen printed on the front and the back of his t-shirt. There's a process in our website where you purchase a shirt. What kind of shirt you want? What kind of shirt do you want? You purchase the shirt, you send it to us. The details are on the website. Remember, the world's greatest website? All right. And you fill all those details out, you send us a shirt, we get a screen print and send it back to you. All that can handle right there. But you don't want to screen print it? You want like Bob Grinstead's got? Bob Grinstead's is embroidered. All right. He stepped up. The maid came in and embroidered his. Yeah, wait, I'm going to go to Bob. Can I pop up Bob? Let me see something here. Yeah, there it is. That's Bob's. Isn't that cool looking? Yeah. Well, you want that pattern? that's embroidered. Bob provided us with that pattern. Yeah, it's on our website, right there, the whole pattern. Everything you'll need to do it. We're trying to spread the word of our club, your club. I got to get that right. It's your club. And all you have to do is participate. Any way we can help you, we'll be there. And we're working on some other items now too, because we're always looking to find you, the wood turners. We had over 100 folks tune in tonight for meeting number 213. And if you've got something to show tonight, we got a little bit of time before we pull the reins in at 9 o'clock Central. And that doesn't mean we turn this switch off. That just means it gets interesting after that. Because you just keep talking. You come up with some stuff, really. And that's when it's not like, stick around. We'll find out. How about back to some gallery tonight, Dane? Can we do that?
Absolutely.
Where?
Let's
Who?
let's go to Jim.
Be careful. I see a couple of names popping up there. Some are dangerous.
All right, Jim, we got you, buddy.
Hi. This is a small bowl that I made in the last week. It's about 5.5 inches. It's red elm.
Pretty.
Ooh, nice. Very nice.
It's finished with axe, abrasive paste, and their wax. Is elm usually? I've got a lot of chatter, and I used a scraper, but I still have chatter marks. Is elm pretty brittle?
Elm is soft and kind of stringy.
This was not soft. I bought it probably 2 years ago from Got Wood, and it was kiln dried. So it's been sitting for 2 years.
Okay, well, I mean, so it's dry. I mean, it's still, it's, you have to get shearing cuts on it or shearing scrapes on it. So if you're using scrapers, you've got to be shearing with it. And it is softer than other hardwoods like cherry and maple and walnut and stuff like that. So it's going to tear out more readily. If you get it right, between the growth rings, you're going to have a bunch of little striations. It's really spectacular wood. If you can get a good shear scrape on it or a shear cut on it and get the tear out.
I've got some areas that look decent.
Oh, you can see the chatoyance on there.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Very pretty.
Yeah, it's one of my more favorite woods to turn because it turns pretty easily because of how soft it is, and I really like the extra grain patterns, if you get it right. But it kind of behaves a little bit like willow does or like oak does in that it's hard to get some good fine lines on it. So just be advised of that.
Yeah,
I hope that helps.
I did use the bowl gouge, the one edge to shear scrape, and then tried the negative rake scraping, but I don't have the grinding down on that yet.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah, I use sanding sealer on almost everything, but for woods like that, you have to, I had to use it more, if you know what I mean. I mean, you're always getting light coats, but you've got to fix the grain before you do the final cuts to get it clean.
So, would you use the sanding sealer and then put the axe on, or just the sealer and forget the axe?
I don't use axe, so I'm not exactly sure where it goes.
It's an abrasive paste and then a clear wax.
You could certainly use the axe after sanding sealer. I use a lacquer-based sanding sealer. I spray it, so I spray light coats, and then I sand, and I'm sanding between coats anyway, which is essentially what an abrasive paste would do. So, if that makes sense.
When you say spray it, is it in a can or?
Yeah, it's a Deft lacquer-based sanding sealer. It's in a rattle can.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
And I, in a pinch, if I'm out of that, then I just use basic lacquer. So treat it like a sanding sealer.
Right. I would use a sanding sealer and then the axe.
Yeah. Okay. And you're going to sand between coats, of course, like usual.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Oh,
Yeah, Jim.
I mentioned this earlier. I've got a Laguna 1216 and really like it. And today, Laguna's having a sale all this month. I got the outboard turning kit. Normally it's $150 and it was $134 today. So when you factor in tax, it was like $20 off what it would have been.
Yeah, that was a good deal.
So we're
They're
gonna see
having
some
what,
big pieces in the future.
10% off on equipment.
Yeah. It's just through the end of this month.
Right. Good info. Nice pieces, Jim. Hopefully some of the tips given on the elm helps out. So
Yeah, hope so. I still got a couple pieces of that. Thank you.
all right, let's go to Dave. Hey Dave.
Hey,
Hey, Grandpa.
hey. Got another project done on that European beach.
Look at that.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Love that crotch figure. Wow.
That's gorgeous.
Although I don't quite need a Band-Aid, but this little piece right here, you gotta be real careful when this fly around.
That darn thing.
Yeah.
That is pretty.
Oh yeah,
Very
I can't
nice.
wait.
Looks like two limbs come together right there.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Nice.
What was interesting was this circular spot right here. It was not visible from the outside
Right.
when I started trimming it down, but that was almost that deep.
Hmm.
I don't know if they had drilled into it and mounted something and then taken it back out, but it was straight and deep, and at least it's not a bullet hole. But there are other little surprises like this spot right here.
Mm-hmm.
That's epoxy because that goes right through and comes out, and that wasn't visible from outside either. That was a surprise.
In those crotch sections, sometimes you'll have a void like that.
Oh.
Sometimes even a bark inclusion. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, but it's a gorgeous piece. I can't wait to ship it out. I can use the money. It's already
It is
sold.
beautiful.
That is pretty.
Gorgeous.
Thank you.
Get any
Shine
extra
on that too.
Get any extra of that green stuff and send it my way. I could use it too.
What kind of wood was
All right,
it?
let's go to Leonard.
What kind of wood was it? It's European purple beech.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Go ahead,
So-
Leonard.
All right,
Hello,
thank you.
Lynn.
Hi, Billy. So thank you, Billy, for my latest addiction. Let's start with that. So last week I wanted to show something and I kind of chickened out. Okay. I see all the work that you guys do, and literally I got a lathe 2 weeks ago.
Sweet.
So I was kind of humbled this past week. I had somebody ask me on one of the Skull Saw groups about, a bit of advice. And I said, well, save your first pieces, come back and look at them in a couple weeks, a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year. You'll be amazed at the work that you actually do. So this week, here I am because I want to tell all the other new people out there, just because you see all this great work, they started with the first piece as well. Okay. We all start with the first turning. So,
Yep.
I'm going to show you, my first turning. Even tonight, Doug said that, he practices on, turning a Christmas tree. Mine didn't go so well. Kind of blew apart on me. So I decided that was the wrong type of wood. Went and tried again. Piece of maple from out back. Did I have the same problem? I'm figuring it was the way I presented it. My third turning, fourth turning, all were about the same. So I'm like, I'm not going to try that. I'm going to try something a little bit simpler, something with round. So this was actually my fifth turning.
Nice
But
little
they-
wee pod.
Yes.
Yeah, it is a nice little
Yeah,
wheat pot.
nice. It looked good there.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
absolutely.
Nice and smooth.
Yep.
Nice shine.
One of my kids asked me when I was doing the rest of the chess set, though.
And
Then
you're right, Lynn. We all started somewhere.
So I also saw somebody turning some Christmas ornaments. So I decided I was going to try that.
That's kind of cute.
The head's a little small and the hat's a little big, but not too bad.
Hey, you know, there's no rules. There's no rules there, Lance.
No,
Yeah,
not bad at all.
Not at all.
And
Leonard,
speaking-
all you
I gotta tell
all
you,
gotta do is
the
put some eyes on it.
the asymmetric snowmen really work well. People love funky heads and big hats. And I sell a lot of snowmen every Christmas season. So I'd say just put a face on that guy and call her done.
Yep.
So I had 3 trees come down this past winter. So I had some maple, and then I also had some elm. Speaking of elm, and I also turned a bell.
Sweet.
Came out pretty nice.
Remember
actually, when I was
one thing,
cutting-
you're your own worst critic.
Yeah.
So that one I turned this week, and then I tried, moved on to a mushroom.
There you go.
There you go.
By the way, that is a nice mushroom.
Yes.
You know?
It is.
It came out pretty smooth. Shape was decent, but yeah. So
Nice choice of wood too there. With the
So-
sculpting in it.
oh yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
came out
Very
pretty
good,
nice.
Leonard.
Great stuff.
Very good.
So
Yes.
I just want to say to the other new turners, get in there, make some sawdust, relax, enjoy yourself, and happy turning.
Oh, right.
There you go.
Yeah, like
Yes,
we,
I agree.
Big word.
like we say in athletics and sports, you don't get better by sitting on the sideline.
That's right.
So,
True.
very good.
Good word.
And you,
Good word.
and you got that lathe set up that we discussed a while back, right?
Yes, that's the lathe that I got.
Outstanding.
I got to do a little. I had to do a little bit of work to it, a little bit of sanding because it was sitting around for 3 or 4 years.
Rust.
So a little bit of rust on it, but yeah, I got a little bit more work to do to it, but I'll get there.
Hey,
Deal.
hey, Leonard. Hey, Leonard. You know what?
Yes.
You just fell in the rabbit hole.
That's just the start.
You're done, you're
Yep.
finished.
No stopping now.
You'll be here every Wednesday. Believe me.
Oh yeah, he's been along the ride since he's been here. So
Fell in the rabbit hole.
In the rabbit
you.
hole, but with good company.
There we go.
Oh,
right.
my goodness.
all
I
right.
wouldn't trade this hobby for nothing in the world.
Yeah.
Nothing in the world.
Welcome to the tailgate.
Thank you.
All right. All right, let's go to Gerald Avery. Hey Gerald.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay, I got a couple pens to show you since it's coming up Halloween season. As you can see on the outside of this box, wait a minute, I got something here covering this up. See if I can get that element. Read there where it says Zombie Hunter.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, this is like a military ammo box. They have handles on each end. You open it up, and it's got the perfect bullet that you need to be a zombie hunter. Caliber
That is
Browning
a
machine gun.
man.
Made it with a Penn State Funline kit. This is what the mechanisms look like inside. So you can change it out, put different ones in there, depending on what you need. The only problem is it's too heavy to write with.
It looks cool.
But it fits the nice little pine box just fine. Just put a couple little brass hinges on it, routed it out to fit, left it a little crude looking. Because let's face it, you're out there hunting zombies. You don't really care what the box looks like.
I like a heavy pen. Sign me up.
That was cool, Gerald.
And the other one that I
Oh, a
made,
coffin box.
yeah,
Got a coffin pen.
Love it.
pinch
That's
toes
cool.
coffin box.
Mummy's esophagus.
And you can put your bolt action pin in it. And if you want to use it on your desk, I drilled a little hole in it where you could
All that.
Yeah, and put a little business card up here. or
That's
something.
cool.
Top of the line.
Thank
That is cool.
Yep, that is cool.
And even kind of even faked where the nail holes would go.
Gotcha.
At least now you got a place. So you can kill the zombie and you got a place to bury him. That's awesome.
There you go. There you go.
Hey,
That's all I got tonight.
Yeah,
Nice
right on.
job.
Thanks, Gerald.
Happy
Good
hunting.
seeing you. Good seeing you. All right, let's go to Matt. Hey, Matt.
Hey, okay. First thing, let me show a little elm from the discussion before. So this is a piece I turned multiple years ago. It's got a little tear out, but those striations in here between the end grain, you can see some of them here. You can see some of them here.
Right.
And so that's how elm looks like. And I don't know if I can zoom this. Here we go. It's not working the way I want it to. There we go. But you can see the striations in here, all these little tiny striations in between the end grain or the growth ring grains, the growth rings. So, but and this is not a very good picture. I don't have this piece anymore. It sold years ago. But that's the first thing. So that's elm. Second thing, I showed this this bit here a while back that I turned, and I've added some color and some dust and some flakes and some and a ribbon finial.
Ribbon finial. Oh no.
Oh, Theo.
Wow. Where'd you learn how to do that at?
So, and this bit is turned by itself. You all saw that.
Looks like a unicorn sneezed on it.
Yeah, there you go. So that's where I was going with that. And I'm down a multi-axis rabbit hole the last 2 weeks. So I just turned this yesterday. It's an 8-pointed star, and it starts as a cube. Okay, so there's the cube, and your centers are the centers of each face. So your first turn is like that, where you're turning this section here. And then you got to rotate it and hold it somehow and do the same thing again. And then you got to rotate it again and hold it on a different face between centers and rotate it again. So the turning is not the hard part. The holding is the hard part. So I was going to be in the shop today to make another jig to hold it better. Something curved that fits in these slots here to hold it between centers, because I get that kind of thing here. But anyway, I've been wanting to find a way to turn one of these for years, and this is inspired by an Alan Stratton video that showed up in my feed a while back. Get on his mailing list, by the way, because he makes some really cool stuff. And his video was supposedly inspired by something that Donna Fraser turned at SWAT, or at the Dallas area woodturners, a couple years ago. So this is kind of crude. I couldn't hold it precisely where I wanted to. The original cube was not exactly 3 inches square. So it's Theo's star. You're right, Bob. But apparently Theo, and this may have originated with Donna Fraser. I think that's her name. Because the way Alan Stratton talked about it in his video is that he and Theo were talking about how to make the jigs, and they ended up 3D printing something to make it work. So
Donna got it from Theo.
Donna got it from Theo?
Donna,
okay.
She did it this year at SWAT, Matt.
Well, the video I saw online was from like 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, Theo did it.
She got it from Theo.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe you. Theo's like the king of multi-axis. So between him and Max Brosey,
I wonder if you if you made a square jam chuck that you could just push it into.
Well, the problem is that you've got to be able to lock it into the centers. It's a very precise. If you're not precise, because what this is, let me find the right face. Okay, so these are the top corners of the cubes up here. Okay, right. These corners of the cubes, and what this line across the middle is, that's the diagonal. So what you're doing is you're turning to the center and you're turning until your cuts hit the diagonal on each side. Okay. And that gets so, but it's got, in order for it to work, it's got to be super precise. So you've got to be able to hold it super precise. So that's the problem, is lining it up correctly. Okay. So if you're just square on the ends, you can hold it, but then how do you line it up? So, you'd have to like build a jig or something. Maybe if you built a square jig to hold it, maybe that would work.
Yeah.
That would be very specific.
Alan's got a 3D jig now.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
How he made a jig on his last demo of that for Record Power.
Well, like I said, the Donna Frazier video I found, she shows how to make the jig, and she's making the points are a lot narrower, so they're making like a star ornament. So their jig is a little different from what exactly I need to hold something like this. You know what I mean? But
hey, Matt, did
yes,
did you start off with a cube and then go point to point?
No, your centers are on the midpoint of each face. So you start off with a cube, you draw the diagonals on each face like you would if you were trying to center it, okay? And then you mount your set. The first center is centered exactly in the middle of each face. So you're rotating it like this on the center of each face. But then when you rotate it to do the next one, you've got to be centered on these faces, and part of it is turned away.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep. No. Yep.
Okay. Lining it out first, and then taking the intersections and turning, and then rotating to the next set. Yep.
Yes.
Cove cut.
Eventually, Matt will be doing a demo on it. Don't worry, folks.
What you got there looks good, man.
Next year.
It looks cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. This is like, if y'all saw my Facebook post on this, I titled it Proof of Concept. Because I've been,
a good job.
This is literally my first one of these, and it turned out it was nearly exactly what I wanted it to be. So it proved that I could do it. So
okay, Matt. So how many times did you turn that?
3. You're turning it on 3 axes.
3 times.
So, okay, you start off
one here,
then you
here, and then you flip it to the other one that's unturned.
To the other side.
Yeah. So you got, there's 6 centers, right? 6 centers, 1, 2, and 3. Okay.
Yeah.
So those are the axes you turn on, and it's center to center on each face.
Half of them is 3.
And then with the ghost that you see, just bring it down to where where the ghost doesn't.
Yeah, the way I did it.
The ghost. Well, I'm talking about the ghost.
Yes, and you're looking at the lines. And one of the things that I did here is when I first drew the lines on this, I drew it in pencil, and I started spinning it, and I couldn't see the lines. So I got out a Sharpie and I made really dark black lines along the diagonals. And then when I was spinning, I could see the lines, and I could see where they were. And then and then you start looking at the shadows when you get towards the end ones.
Right.
You're looking at the shadows of the corners.
My workshop floor is full of proof of concepts.
Cool. I'd love to see that.
Pieces of them. All over the workshop.
I feel that every one of these things, whether it's that or this other one here, I learn a whole bunch from every time I try one of these things. So it's like you start to get your head around, how I have to rotate how I have to mount the axis in, and what sort of specialized jigs I might need to make. And the jigs are not that difficult. They're kind of simple, but you have to hold the piece, So.
Yeah, Matt, I wonder if you could make a circle with a square inside it. That you could clamp onto your
attorney, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to tell you what your case is potentially
Anybody
worth.
get it?
Hello, I'm Gina, along with spokesperson.
Yeah, somebody found it. Okay, so technically, it probably would work if I had an exact thing. If this was exactly 3 inches on a side, and I had a square holder on each side that was exactly 3 inches square. So that would theoretically work too.
You couldn't get to the tip of the one on that side.
Well, that's
Right,
exactly
exactly.
right. But what you'd have to be doing, Jim, is you'd have to be cutting into the jig when you did it.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll have to be a
You know, if you had it,
sacrificial
you know, if you were
Or cut
holding
the
it like
length of the
here
jig.
and you left your corners free, right? You know, you'd be cutting into your jig
Yeah, yeah.
when you did it. So don't make it out of metal.
No.
What
That's
you
good.
could
All
do-
right.
That's pretty cool, Matt. Pretty cool.
All right,
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. I was delighted with it. So it's even though it's kind of crude and not
It's always
precise.
fun when it works out.
No, it's not. It's not crude. It's not crude at all.
Okay.
Nice. Thanks.
Yeah, it doesn't meet there. I've got chips out.
It's all good, Matt.
Prototype's always
We'll be-
rough.
We'll be looking forward to the demo next year sometime. So no worries at all. So, all right, it's
the way I
quarter
obsess
till-
about things, it might be next month, Dane.
We'll figure it out. So it's a 6:45, and we've got about 7 or 8 more folks we need to power through here. So let's go to Ruby next. Ruby.
Okay. Last weekend, I got to demonstrate at the Hamilton Wood Show. So one of the things I brought back from it was the poster that showed all the demonstrators. So there was myself, and then Theo, and then Mike Davies, and all the way down. It's a pretty big poster. And one of the neat things they made up for me for my demo was this sign and when you read it forward, it says Ruby's Rudimentary Guide to Wood Turning. I thought the resemblance was pretty good.
That's cool.
But for the heck of it, I entered this goblet out of you in their competition, and it did get a first.
Good. How about that? Wow.
And then one of the things I had to show when I was kind of on the floor, because somebody said that I don't turn very delicate things.
Oh,
Nice.
Nice.
I guess against my shirt works about best.
They can stick that in their pipe and smoke it.
Yesterday, look how gorgeous that is.
Yeah, that looks pretty delicate.
And
My
folks,
goodness.
look inside the spear too.
Bring it closer bring it closer.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe if I put the ribbon behind it, and then you can.
Go way out there.
Wow.
Yeah, you got a star in there?
Yep, there's a star in there.
Oh my
How
God.
about that?
Crazy.
Pretty.
Okay,
The
demo.
base was real pretty.
Demo.
There you go, Matt. You got to
I'm
put your
afraid
star in a sphere.
I
now.
don't have the tools that I used or the machine I used for that one, but I did that.
How old is that?
I did that one when I was in France. So
Gorgeous.
So when we gonna get you for a demo, Ruby?
I've got a couple things here that I've got to deal with. My husband's not too well, and
Oh no.
in fact, right now he's in a respite home.
Oh my.
I was supposed to bring him home today, but he fell while he was there.
Oh no.
Ended up in the hospital and caught COVID in the hospital.
Oh, wonderful.
And they've called me about 6 a.m. the last 3 mornings to let me know he's fallen again in the morning.
Oh no.
So I think I have to look for a permanent rest home for him, and that's going to be a challenge.
That sucks. I'm sorry.
Well,
All right.
otherwise I would be doing a lot of other things, but it really takes a lot of time being a caregiver.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you.
Okay. All right. Well, prayers for you there, Ruby.
Show that bowl you made last at that demo.
It's your at Hamilton's Hamilton thing you went to? Is
Yeah,
it a bowl or a platter? What are
it
you
was a-
holding behind you?
it was a bowl, but it's not up here, it's downstairs, so
Oh, yeah,
I'll bring it up another time.
yeah.
But I thought it was just nice having this huge poster to remember the guys from, and
Very cool.
the demos that we did. And
That's
all of
cool.
that.
Pretty cool. And you got one of them signed it too. That's cool.
I got 3 of them to sign. Theo's the only one that hasn't signed it because he did his live from Australia. But I thought it was pretty amazing that we had it coordinated for our lives from Scotland, England, Australia, and Canada.
Yeah,
Now,
very good.
Ruby, you
Power
realize
of technology.
You realize, Ruby, that like they all have the same poster that you have behind you. And
No, I was the only one smart enough to grab one.
well, I thought that they would all have one, and it would be really worth its while when they had your signature on it.
There you go.
Well,
Right.
I can take a pen and add it to that one.
Yes. That'll triple the value.
Might do something to it.
All right, folks, let's move on to the next set of people here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ruby. All right, let's go to the professor. Hey, Doug.
Hey, what's happening, everyone? All right.
Hey, buddy.
I'll be quick, but I'm hoping Charles Bundy is on tonight. And Yes, as soon as sir. You're here? All right. Charles Bundy sent me these pens for Freedom Pens. Look
Nice.
at the unique style he put on the tops of all those pens.
Cool.
Nice.
No two are the same. He put a note on there. That's why I don't want to take the notes off because he taped them on there all pretty cool. So thank you again. Those will be going off to the infantry guys that are they're still at Fort Bliss right now, but they're fixing to take their trip over the pond and go do what they got to do. So thank you. Really
Great
appreciate
job.
that, Charles.
Yes. Nice job, Charlie.
Yeah, good
Matt
job,
was
Charlie.
talking about the Def Lacquer Thank Standing you. Sealer. I happen to have a can close by, so that's what we're talking about. Up here where I
Yep,
live in
that's-
northern Arizona, it's pretty hard to come by. The only store that I can find that carries it up in my neck of the woods is Ace. Can't find
Yep.
it at Lowe's or Home Depot.
Yeah, me too. I know that Home Depot no longer carries Deft or Minwax products due to disputes with the cut. So wow.
And so this is a giant clock. I've been doing this on Facebook. So if you're friends with me on Facebook, you might have seen the process so far. So this is going to be the back side of the clock. The mortise here it's still really chewed up, and I'm not even going to bother fixing that. What's going to happen is this is going to get routed out, and that's where the mechanism for the clock will actually go in. The other side's actually quite a bit prettier, but it's not finished being sanded yet. I'm hoping to get that done tonight. But this is Dr. Crafty resin with mica powder, and the wood is cypress.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I've been watching you as you've been working on it.
Yeah.
You've been having a hell of a time with it. It's turning into
Yeah,
a good
when the
t-shirt,
worm
Doug.
screw stripped out, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh, I know, right?
But we figured it out. So anyway,
you figured
I'm
it
hoping
out.
by this weekend to have it done. The person that's purchasing it from me is actually was my first sergeant back when I was a young buck sergeant. And then he made it all the way up to command sergeant major, and he retired before I did. So at any rate, he's coming up to see me over the Veterans Day holiday. And so I'm trying to get it done in time for him.
Right on. All right. Thanks for sharing, Doug.
You bet. You guys have a good one.
All right. Well, let's go to. We got a little girl wants to show something off. Let's see what Brooklyn's got going on here. Brooklyn.
Okay, so I'm the youngest member of the Woodturners Guild, And before I show off my stuff, Matt, do you need my address? Because I want that ornament.
I'll make it for sale for you. No problem. Kelly and I'll figure it out.
Okay, so I turned this pen when I was 5.
All right.
Great.
Very nice.
Good job.
Great job.
Hey Kelly, if you
Well
have
done.
a piece of paper, if you have a piece of paper, it'll show it off better. You can use that as a backdrop for it.
No.
Too
Nope.
bright. There we go.
Oh, there you
There
go.
we go.
Very nice.
good.
Very nice.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I like the color. Love the color.
All right. And
Very nice.
again, how old were you, Griffiths? You were 5 when you turned that, and you're 12 now. So 7 years apart. Very good.
No, explain to her about
Nice.
the rabbit hole.
Well, her dad's the big rabbit.
I think she just fell down the rabbit hole.
She's been there a while.
That's what I think.
So this year,
On,
I had a
I'll let her talk.
So this year I had a presentation. What was it? American Youth Works. Teaching other people how to make pens, and I made this one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
good.
Oh, my.
Very
Wow,
nice.
nice.
Well
Great
done.
job.
Very good.
What kind of wood is that?
was that?
That's really pretty.
Mesquite.
Mesquite. Very good. I love
Beautiful.
mesquite.
That's really pretty.
Beautiful.
What else you got?
Awesome.
That's it? You're going to save the rest for next week? Nod your head to say yes. All right. Thanks, Russ.
He's thinking.
Nice job.
Nice job, sweetheart.
You bet.
Good job.
All right.
Good job, kid.
Good. All right. Joaquin,
Yes, sir.
come up with you next. We got you now, sir.
Okay. I finally got started on ornaments.
And I need your story.
I'm going to tell that after the ornaments.
Okay.
I see I'm going to have to share a screen because I had to run them down to the gallery. Okay. This is just some tree houses and bird houses and trees. Which way am I going? It doesn't want to move on me. Why do I always have trouble with this stupid thing? Y'all see that though?
I know how this feels, Joaquin.
I can see you drawing on the screen.
I don't know what's happening. But anyway, hey, Leonard, these are my first Christmas trees. I started turning these Christmas trees about 10 years ago. All you need is a thin parting tool. And they're really easy and round and quick to make. These are some sea urchins. That small one there is about the size of a golf ball. Sea urchin with a spotted hackberry finial.
All we see are the small pictures of each, Joaquin.
Huh? You see the small ones?
Yeah, we're not seeing the individual pictures. We see
what's going on.
we see the whole directory.
You have to open them first, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Just click on each picture and it should pop up to full size.
Well, see, I see it full size on mine.
Oh, we're not seeing it.
You probably shared at the wrong level somehow.
Yeah, you didn't share
Okay,
the
so
right
click
window.
click on a picture, get it full size, and then share that. And then from that picture, scroll to the next one.
Okay. Oh, no.
There's no dogs to help you tonight.
He's asleep in the background.
I don't see him.
Oh, we got back to the same picture.
So click
See
on a
anything
picture
now?
so we still see the
Same folder.
Okay.
So click on one of the pictures to enlarge it. And then stop your share screen and then share your screen again to that picture.
All right. Go here. Go boom, boom. I still get that little deal down at the bottom.
What little
Well, you should be able to, if you double click the picture to make it large, you should have that in your list when you go to share screen.
It should go up on your list.
Shucks.
That's all right. They're all pretty pieces, Joaquin.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can go to Facebook
very-
and see.
Yeah, they're on the Facebook's the group
Yeah,
page.
yeah, they can do it on Facebook. They can open it up.
I looked at them. They're really nice, Joaquin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
they look
your
good.
snowman with the different eyes.
Yeah. And those are just pins, you know. But it's a story I want to tell and share if I could get this to come up. Matt, you're going to like this story. It has to do with the ribbon finial, although we call it a spiral finial, we'll call it the flickering flame finial.
All good, man.
About 3 years ago, I saw it on Facebook and decided to turn it. And so I turned it. And here it is. Let's see if I can get it to come up. Oh, you still got this goofy thing up.
Still got you.
Okay, I can't do it. All right. Anyway, you probably aware of this, Matt. You know, I was on Facebook and I saw this finial, and so I had pictures of it, but this one's broke off. This is the original one. They dropped it in a gallery, but it come up, and I call it a flickering flame. And so I put it on Facebook, and this guy comes on. He says, "Hey, Joaquin, I turned one just like that." Well, it was Vinny Luciano. He says, "Vinny, I copied yours." I had pictures of his, you know, and I have.
Yeah, Vinny was at Ron Campbell's this year. I got to meet him and see some of his work.
Oh, he's
Pretty
unbelievable.
cool.
But it's so funny. He said, "Hey, looky here, I turned one like yours, Joaquin." I said, "What do you mean? I copied yours." But anyway, this is broke off. I haven't replaced it yet, but it made about 1.5 turns up there. And
Yeah, hey Joaquin, let me share that picture of yours.
how's that?
Let me get there. Hang on. Oh, it's in a thing. It's in a collection. Never mind. Let me get there. Give me a minute, you guys.
Yeah.
What kind of wood is that? That's it.
Have you got Vinny's picture?
I've got some of it. I'll go find Vinny's here in a minute. He's got a bunch of his that have the spiral ribbon finials on them.
Yeah.
Joaquin, I don't. You got it in some kind of collection. I can't really load it correctly.
Yeah. But it's in a folder, and it I don't know. Yeah, I'm just taking up time. Maybe I can bring something up next meeting.
Posts this.
Yeah, we can do it
Stop.
next week if you want, Joaquin.
I got it. Hang on.
You got it, Matt? Are you
Yeah.
sure?
No, I'm not.
Let me go to
There it is.
All right, let me go to you here real quick. And we got a couple more we need to get through.
Yeah.
There
Do
we
you,
go.
do you see mine? Is it big now?
Yes.
Yeah. You see the full.
That's
full-on
really
finial.
beautiful.
Yeah, very nice, Joaquin.
Very
Uh,
nice.
I have Vinny's also. I wanted to show, but anyway. But when you was
No
making
worries.
these, I've been wanting to share this story with you that how you copy somebody and say, "Hey, I turned one too." Well, I'm sorry, buddy, but I copied you. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'll have to learn how to do this share screen.
That is funny.
If you want sometime, Joaquin, we can do a one-on-one and work down the mechanics of it where it's muscle memory for you.
We'll do that, Dane. Fantastic.
Okay. Yeah, anytime, so we're both available during the day. So all good.
Awesome piece. That was an awesome piece, man.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me show Vinny's real quick too.
Okay.
Well, we got a couple more folks here, Matt.
Yeah, Vinny copied Joaquin.
Okay, there you go.
Wow.
All right, I'm done.
Okay.
All right.
All right, Dane, you're doing a good job, bud.
Sorry,
all right,
Dane.
thank you. No worries. Hey, Al, start your video, buddy. Al.
Hello, how's everyone? Just drank water.
Uh-oh.
Down the wrong pipe.
There you go. We got you now.
Everybody good? I hope.
We got you.
I don't know what it is. I thought it was peach. I call it well, it's a box. In a winged, I guess, platter.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Matt, there you go.
Nice.
I love it. I love it. I love all the ribbon finials everybody's turning.
I'm telling you, it's so cool, Matt. So cool. So cool. So easy.
Yeah, it's a lot easier than you might think. So, what size is your internal hole? How big is that? Because that looks bigger than the ones I was doing.
Oh, in here?
Yeah.
I think this one was a 1/2 inch.
Okay. All right. Well, that is the same size. Okay.
A 1/2 inch. I made something earlier today was a 1/4 inch. It was just too much, just to deal with. I don't know what kind of wood. Like I said, I think it's peach, but I'm not sure. But I kind of like it. I call it a dream box. You put your dreams in there, and
Sounds good.
going up in the world.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Real nice.
Cool.
I have a couple people going to be getting married. So I made a nice little chalice.
Okay.
And
the way you do
some,
Wow.
some captured rings put together. When you spin it at 88 miles an hour and you kick in the, what's it called? They all fuse together.
Yep.
So that's kind of cool. Now, I told my wife, if I say to her, when I'm looking at 2 toothpicks,
All right.
call the friendly guys with the white jackets. Ruby, you opened up another can of worms. I can't even throw. I can't throw branches away now. Okay,
I think that's great. You did a good job with them.
I love it.
You've opened up another can of worms that's not even wood turning. Not even wood turning. I have to
He
look
looks-
along. If
he
there's
looks great.
nothing going on, well, something could happen. It's just crazy stuff.
Hey,
What you have created.
Perfect.
it's even better if you can get people to partner with your walls.
No,
on it,
really.
too.
No, really. If
Look at the horse.
it was this way, so it had 2 things coming. I said, well, you know what? Well, I can make it look like 2 horns. I can't throw anything away now.
Well, he's ready for Halloween.
All right.
Yeah, that's right.
Way to go,
That's
there,
pretty
Al.
good.
Oh my God, Ruby, thank you so much.
All right. All right,
Very
folks,
good.
it's top of the hour. We got one more gallery item, and then the official meeting will be over with. Eddie has already signed off. So let's go with let's shoot over to Todd Phipps here. Todd, still there? Of course you are. There you are.
Todd. What's up, Todd?
Unmute, Todd.
I kept clicking and it wouldn't click. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So I made an elm platter bowl thing here.
Nice.
I just put mahoney.
Beautiful.
You muted again.
You muted yourself again.
Have you got a mute button on your microphone on your headset?
Now you're unmuted.
Yeah.
Hit your space bar.
I'm not touching any of it. I think earlier I hit it more than once, so it.
We can hear you now. Don't worry.
On the back of it, I liked the way the grain was opened in it, so I threw some of the Hampshire Sheen embellishing wax into to pop that grain out a little bit, so you can really see the grain go on it. But
yeah,
I was just trying to do a piece that was more functional than some of the stuff I've been. And I really, sort of enjoyed this. Although I got to tell you, when it's on the lathe, it's like 1/8 of an inch thinner than when I take it off the lathe. I think I missed the depth of this bowl by about 1/8 of an inch, maybe more. So it's a little thicker than I wanted, but there was that. Nice. And then I have about 1/2 of a project. It's still on the lathe. And so
that's
gorgeous.
This Hampshire Sheen dyes are just, I can't get them out of my head. So this one here is
Carnival color, right?
That's nice.
A whole bunch of those.
Those are the carnival colors, right? Not as great
to get the shapes.
So with this one, I'd taken the colors and just blotched them on there.
Those are the carnival colors, Todd?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
These are the intrinsic dyes.
Oh, the intrinsic.
wow.
Okay.
I used the ruby, the honey, and the sky blue, and then and what's the purple one? Plum. So there's just little pieces of plum in there, but I sort of put the ruby, the sky blue, and the plum on there, and then used the honey to just fill in the empty spots and like blend them a little bit. And then it has like 4 coats of gloss lacquer on it, and then after I finished, I saw there's a crack in it right there that's forming, and a crack right here that's forming. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. Maybe I'll turn it back off there or something. I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
You just gave Brenda a heart attack, Todd.
I know, right?
So yeah,
Hey, Todd, send it over to my house and I'll figure out a way to fix it.
yeah.
Send it to my house and I'll leave it the way it is.
Yeah. So I haven't.
in it.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'll do is dump some CA or something in it. But
Just don't put any coffee grounds in it because then it'll look like coffee grounds were dumped in it.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess that's all I have today.
Yeah, right on. Todd.
Good job.
So,
That is pretty.
it's
Really pretty,
So it's
Todd.
after the
Thank
top
you.
of the hour. So the official meeting is now over. This is now the unabridged after hours party.
So we got to hear from Donald.
So if anyone wants to bow out now, that's now is your time because you're really not going to miss anything. This is just where we just shoot shit here on the tailgate.
But we got to hear from Donald.
Donald, what do you got to say?
Before you sign out, save the chat.
Yep, save the chat for the 45 people that stayed on at the moment. I can hear the
Night,
little
everybody.
when the people are dropping off.
Nice
So
pieces, Todd, man. Have a good color.
good to have everybody in that showed up. We had like 107 people on again tonight at the height of the program. That was pretty good. So I guess a little bit of the promoting and posts that I'm doing on the Facebook group page is paying off, even though it seems like I piss a few of them off, but
We didn't
not
want
my problem. I enjoy pissing them off, so whatever. If they can't come to a meeting and enjoy everything that we're enjoying, they're missing out on so much information, so much fun.
Yep.
Tim Hatch has something he wants to show.
Oh yeah, and then I told Tim I was going to show him
I think he just left.
my little
No,
thing.
he was saying he'd like to make.
Hey,
Okay.
Tim. Here we go. Yeah,
Oh,
look at that.
cute.
You're muted though, Tim.
You.
That's really cute.
You're muted, Tim.
Muted. You're not muted, but we can't hear you.
Your mic's off.
Yeah, it's stupid
There
ear.
we go.
I don't have the mic attached. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep,
Yes,
loud
sir.
and clear.
Fine. That's actually a gourd.
Oh wow.
So
Looks
the wife
great.
made that. That's one of her Christmas ornaments for our upcoming show. And then she decided that she liked the Viking gnomes. And that's also a gourd. She uses the Instawood and then, adds that on. So that's really cool stuff. But sorry, I missed part of the show dealing with some family stuff. Got that all straightened out. So was able to join in. I guess I'll have to watch Bob's demo on the rerun. Look like a really good.
Yep,
Yeah, it was
sounds
a
good.
It was a good demo, Tim.
Indeed it was. It was very informative. So,
Yeah.
but here's what I used one of those pieces, or took a piece out of that spalted pecan, Tim. And let me flip the camera around here. And I dressed up the wormholes, bug holes.
Oh wow,
Mhm.
that is absolutely stunning, Dane.
And then, of course, the spiral phase that everybody's in.
Where's
So I
the
dressed
tie?
it up with
That looks
gilding.
really nice.
That's got
Oh,
a lot of wow,
got a lot going on. And
lot
there's
of
the
good
bottom
character.
side, so it took care of the bug holes in it, with my turquoise. But yeah, I appreciate it. I really enjoyed.
Hey, that piece of
having
cedar
that.
you were turning, how'd that come
Yeah.
out?
Show him the
It's,
bottom of
it's-
that real quick, Dane.
It's in process, Tim. So it's I got a real nice urn going on. I should have the urn finished next week.
Look at the texturing in the bottom of that. That is
That,
awesome.
that spalting is excellent.
Yeah, it was real soft and punky, let me tell you. But sharp as it does, with a little bit of speed.
Oh, you
so.
see the little mouse?
Oh God, where?
How'd you do that
there.
texturing?
I use my Storby.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yep, right there's the mouse.
Where?
Right there in the middle. Right, you're zooming in on him.
What?
You don't see the mouse? Right, left, there.
Oh, well, his finger's on a
Yeah,
little
right
bird.
above your finger.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I see
Yeah,
the
you're
mouse.
There's a little bird right below him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that bird
Oh,
was-
yeah,
Yeah,
They're
Yep,
kissing
yep,
Piglet.
Next to the
Oh,
heart.
that's y'all. Oh, look, there's another little bunny rabbit with his ears.
Yep.
And a chicken.
Or a little girl's face.
Yep.
Oh, that's
A puppy.
funny.
I love
You
those.
see what you've done to all of us, Brenda?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's good stuff, So just wanted you to see that. Much appreciative for the wood, the bits that you sent me. So good group.
Yep, no
Harder
problem.
pace
The
work.
wife says there's more.
Right on.
Let me know
Yeah,
if
the
you need
barter
something,
page
man.
works. So